What's up, San Diego?
This is San Diego sports. The wins, the losses, the moments that matter, and the opinions that come with them.
Padres have clinched the playoffs in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 05 and 06.
No hype, no filter. Just the truth about your teams, your city, and the people who care about it most.
The reality is the expectations are higher now for this club than they were in 2019 and 2020 when the Padres hadn't made the playoffs that many times.
He's been here. He knows this city. And now he's leading the conversation every single day. Live and local on 97.3 The Fan.
This is fun. We're doing this for fun. This is fun. Have fun. Enjoy the fun with us having fun.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fans. Good to be talking to you after what? Not one, not two, 3 straight wins for the Padres. A sweep of the Atlanta Braves. Gotta love that, huh? We talked about it all week long. This is a big week for the Pods. Huge week for the Padres. To try to get to that, our viewing of this month of going 500 in the month to stay on pace. After what was a not so fun May and a beginning of June that wasn't very good, the Padres in the next 5 games need to go 3-2, and they'll go 500 in the month of June, which will put them in the exact same spot going into July that they were last year. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it's important in the sense of like getting some life back into this team in terms of like us as fans not being so pessimistic about what this team could or could not do. Now, this is a tough homestand. It's going to get tougher with the Dodgers coming to town for the next 3 days. They're going to play the Dodgers, 7 times in the next, just over a week with the Cubs mixed in there. So very important showing for the Padres, these 3 games against the Atlanta Braves. And you know what the difference has been? The offense has been a lot better. The pitching staff has been a lot better. I mean, you got to give JP Sears credit for yesterday. Yesterday was a good outing out of JP Sears. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be the guy moving forward. It's just one start, like we talked about on the roundtable. But he did everything he needed to do to save the bullpen a little bit and put the Padres in a position to win. Overall, yesterday, a great finisher to what was a great week for the Padres against the Atlanta Braves, and hopefully they continue that this weekend against the Dodgers. Padres yesterday put up 5 runs on 7 hits, did commit that 1 error, but JP Sears got the W, gave up the 2 runs and the 2-run homer in the 6th inning. But you know what? Overall, a great team performance, and I think you saw that this entire series. Now, game 1, didn't see too much of the offense, but that was a pitcher's duel in game 1. You got the 1 extra play that the Braves were unable to get. Tuesday's game, let the bats out. Wednesday's game, again, bats are starting to hit a little bit better. You're starting to see that production out of guys like Manny Machado. We already saw it out of Fernando. You got to see Xander Bogaerts go 2 for 4 yesterday. Ty France back on a heater after this last week where he was in Texas and now here against the Atlanta Braves. He had a home run yesterday, but Padres seem like they're back on track. And they asked the question on the roundtable, Ben Higgins did, about what's the significance with beating the Braves in 3 games? They're missing Ronald Acuna Jr. You didn't face their ace. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of built-in excuses of why the Padres were able to sweep Atlanta. But at this point in time, I don't think you could really complain about sweeping any team in Major League Baseball. You'll take it. I mean, anytime you could sweep somebody in Major League Baseball, you absolutely take it. I don't care what players they have. I don't care if they're down or not. I think the Padres have seen their fair share of aces this season. So the fact that they missed Chris Sale, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna shed a tear. But that was the game to really put the cherry on top of what has been a good series with the Padres against Atlanta, and now you got to dive into the next one. And I also agree with Ben Higgins on the sense of Padres and Dodgers. Like, it's going to be a fun series, like Jesse Agler mentioned, but this isn't like a massive pivotal series on the year. Because right now, I mean, sure, you want to climb back in the standings a little bit against LA, but right now you still got to focus on taking care of the little things, taking care of your responsibilities, control what you could control. I mean, the Padres are 9 games out of first place right now in the National League West. To me, it's got to be, let's think about the wild card a little bit more than we start thinking about the division. And then if we pull within a couple of games, then we can start talking about that. But, the Dodgers just swept the Twins. Again, 9-game. That's the frustrating part, right? Padres just swept Atlanta, who is the second best team in the National League going into this week. They picked up 0 games in the standings. That's baseball. But I like the way the offense is performing. You're starting to see Manny Machado really put things together. You're starting to see this offense come alive a little bit, and the Padres are starting to see the results in the win column, which is great. And we're going to talk more about this as the show goes on. We'll get into our contenders and pretenders as you see the Padres right now in the thick of the wild card race. And, they got to be able to overcome some of the setbacks that they just had for these last 2 months, but they got to be able to keep it rolling. Again, 3-2 of their next 5, and they will be right where they were going into July like last year. I thought Jesse brought up a good point. I mean, he's always going to say it. He's been saying it for years now in Bennett Woods about it's still early. We're still not at the halfway point yet of the season. That's coming up this weekend. And then we'll get to the ceremonial first half. There's still, after the halfway point, there's still 81 games left. And I think he brought up a good point when he talked about 2024. Because you just never know what you're going to get out of these teams. In 2024, the Padres lost game 100 7-0 to the Cleveland Guardians, and they were 50-50 after that point. 50-50 at the conclusion of that game. Everybody wanted to jump off the bandwagon. This team's terrible. And then they got to a point in late September, early October, where everybody in Major League Baseball thought that team was the best team in Major League Baseball. So there's a lot of game that still needs to be played. There's a lot of baseball that still needs to be played. I know Atlanta was banged up. I know they've lost 4 in a row now, and they've only won 3 of the last 10. But you have to take advantage when those opportunities come about. And I thought JP Sears took advantage of his opportunity last night. I think the Padres have taken an opportunity, or have taken the most and made the most out of their opportunity with the Braves kind of limping in. Now they're going to try to see if they can use this series to propel themselves against LA. But, Frank, it doesn't really matter who you're playing at what time. A sweep is a sweep. That's a big, I think this week is a huge step in the right direction for the Padres. I don't care what Atlanta was missing. That's still a heck of a team that you're going to have to compete against in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you got to be able to take care of business against teams that may not be at their best. And that's exactly what the Padres did this weekend. We talked about, as you said, how important that this homestand was and how you need to be over 500, at least at 500. Well, you've clinched that already. You've already clinched a 500 record for the homestand. And now all you have to do in order to be on pace with where you need to be, if you want the same record going into July this year as you had last year, you just have to beat the Dodgers once now in order to keep that pace. So you've taken a lot of pressure off of yourself. And optically, what has happened in June this year going into July, it looks exactly the same, and it looks a little bit better now instead of the limping that this team was doing a couple of weeks ago. You've got a big win now coming off of a rough series in Arlington. Big sweep against the Braves, a team that, again, no disrespect, they were not at their best. you needed to take care of business against them. And now you have the Dodgers coming in here before you go to Chicago, who are about to complete a 4-game sweep of the Mets today. And then you're back up in LA. So this is this difficult stretch here has started off incredibly well, exactly how it needed to.
Padres don't have that much margin for error anymore after like kind of the last 2 months that they have been through, but sweeping Atlanta gives you a little bit more margin for error going into this weekend, and then going into the first 2 games, at least in Chicago, to try to get to that threshold that we've talked about on the show of, trying to play 500 ball in June and being on the same pace. I mean, they have been on the same pace almost the entire year. The only time that they have not been on the same pace as last year this season has been this month. And now all of a sudden a little resurgence here at the end of the month. And it's good to see them turn it into the right direction. And it's good for them to finally have a game and start getting a couple more games that you actually have a complete game. I mean, I think the significance is less about beating Atlanta and more about how they were able to beat Atlanta this week. Most in yesterday's game. I mean, starting pitching, timely offense, defensive execution, bullpen that protected a lead despite obviously being severely taxed. I mean, they checked off every one of those boxes last night to cap off what was a great 3 days for the Padres and something that they have to use as momentum into their next series against LA. We're going to talk more in the nitty-gritty about last night's game, what we saw out of JP Sears, what we saw out of the offense, if it is improving or is it fixed, bullpen saving the game. I mean, we'll take a deeper dive into the game when we come back as we get things going on a Thursday. Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Everyone's talking about Tarek Skubal and Joe Ryan, but don't sleep on under-the-radar names heading toward the MLB trade deadline. Colorado's Antonio Senzatella has reinvented himself in the bullpen and could become one of the most valuable relief arms available. Miami's Peter Fairbanks still throws 97, could be another sneaky bullpen addition. Royce Lewis heating up again in Minnesota. Reed Detmers quietly having a strong season with the Halos, and Zach Gallen could benefit from a change of scenery. Meanwhile, Luis Ariz continues to hit over 300 and has become one of the best defensive second basemen in baseball. Every year, we focus on the blockbuster trades, but championships are often won by the teams that find value where everyone else isn't looking. Biggest move at this year's deadline might not be the one making the headlines right now. With August 3rd trade deadline quickly approaching, much of the attention around baseball is centered around the big names like Tarek Skubal, Joe Ryan, Freddie Peralta, and Robbie Ray. But while those headline grabbers dominate the conversation, contenders are also searching for hidden gems who could make a huge impact in the second half. As history has shown, sometimes the moves that win championships, Frank, aren't the splashiest ones. They're the smartest ones. First name that comes to mind, 2021 Atlanta Braves, who went and got 3 new outfielders and ended up winning a World Series.
Absolutely. And relief pitching also very, very important down the stretch. Every contender is looking for bullpen help, and a couple of intriguing names are beginning to emerge. Colorado's Antonio Senzatella has reinvented himself after moving from the starting rotation to the bullpen. Since making the transition and altering his pitch mix, he's posted excellent numbers and suddenly looks like one of the Rockies' most attractive trade pieces. Meanwhile, Miami closer Pete Fairbanks could become one of the best relievers available if the Marlins decide to sell. His ERA may not jump off the page, but his velocity and swing and miss stuff remain intact, making him a potential buy low candidate for playoff hopefuls. Bullpen arms always become expensive in July, and that trend figures to continue.
Position versatility is becoming more valuable than ever. Modern front offices love flexibility, and several players who can move around the diamond are drawing attention. Washington's Curtis Mead has enjoyed a breakout season while playing multiple infield positions. Oswald Peraza, now with the Angels, can play second, third, shortstop, and even the outfield, making him a useful piece for contenders looking to strengthen their bench. Versatility becomes even more valuable in October when roster flexibility can determine postseason matchups. I think of Ben Zobrist, right? And the long run that they had with the Chicago Cubs being the versatile player. But Minnesota's Royce Lewis could become one of the most fascinating names on the market, despite the fact that he is very much injury prone.
Yep. Lewis has always had star level talent. The issue is he's never been healthy in order to show it long enough. After a difficult start to the season that included a trip back to AAA St. Paul, St. Louis, just Lewis, has caught fire and is once again showing the offensive upside that made him one of baseball's top prospects. At just 27 and capable of playing multiple positions, he can be an attractive option for teams seeking help in the infield. One question remains: will he be able to stay healthy long enough for the trade to mean something?
Teams are desperate for starting pitching, but they might have more options than they realize. While everyone is focused on Derek Skubal and Joe Ryan, several other teams could emerge. Angels left-hander Reed Detmers is quietly putting together a strong season and remains under team control for multiple years, making him extremely appealing. Arizona's Zach Gallen has endured an uneven campaign, but contenders know his ceiling. Sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what a veteran needs to rediscover his all-star form. Secondary arms could end up being just as important as a lot of the marquee names, but offense could be hard to find, and that's significant here in San Diego, who's looking for a couple of bats potentially at the trade deadline.
Yeah, several contenders are searching for right-handed power and lineup depth. The Texas Rangers have slugger Jake Berger, who we saw earlier last weekend, remaining one of the players to watch. He has legitimate power, and while he doesn't provide elite on base skills, plenty of playoff teams need more home run production. And then you also have another guy that we're very familiar with here, San Francisco's Luis Arraez, representing the opposite type of offensive player, bringing elite contact ability, gets on base consistently, and has dramatically improved defensively. His versatility at first and second base could make him an ideal fit for contenders looking for lineup balance. That's the infield, though. The outfield also has some pretty interesting options.
Which is also rough for the Padres. They're looking for a bat, and they're looking for guys in the corner outfield spots. And the outfield depth is, well, limited. There aren't many outfielders expected to be available, which makes Colorado's Mickey Moniak particularly interesting. For suffering an ankle injury, Moniak was putting together a solid season, producing extra base hits. He's affordable, remains under team control through 2027, in a market short on outfield help that could broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll talk about the World Cup coming up in the noon hour. We don't have a World Cup game, so what, 1 o'clock today?
Yep. They were on at 12, 3, and 6 yesterday. They're going to be on at 1, 4, and 7 today.
So random.
Yep.
Why is it? Because it's a Thursday? Is that considered a weekend over here?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's. I will say, though, it's better than it being on at like 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and 8 in the morning.
You know what? That's a good point. It is way better than that. The World Cup next time's in Europe, isn't it? Like in Spain or something like that? I think it's like legacy hosting or something like that is what they call it. Legacy countries are hosting.
The next one going to be 2030.
Yeah.
Morocco, Paraguay, and Portugal.
Never mind. And then after that, I thought Spain was hosting like after that one. Morocco, Paraguay. Wait, what?
It's showing that 2030 FIFA World Cup is due to be the 24th World Cup. The tournament is to be jointly hosted by Morocco, Portugal, and Spain.
Spain. Yeah, there you go.
In honor of the 100th anniversary of the first FIFA World Cup.
There you go. So you're going to better get used to waking up early in the morning again. That's for the 2030 World Cup, right?
Yeah. They had, okay, so the bids were, apparently there were multiple bids. Well, there's always multiple bids, but the bids were Morocco, Portugal, Spain,
Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay.
Uruguay, Argentina, and Chile, and Paraguay, yeah. Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, and Serbia also were a bid.
And then Morocco, Spain, and Portugal won.
Yes.
Essentially. Yeah, here's what he said. Abandoned bids, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. And a bunch of other people that are a bunch of other countries that bid it as well. 2038 FIFA World Cup, possible bidding. Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, and Hungary. France. Canada, Mexico, United States again. Japan and South Korea. Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. Or even a New Zealand, Fiji, and United States. The possible bidding is crazy to me on how these work. Italy's also putting in a bid for 2046.
It just goes to the highest bidder, as we know.
Yeah, exactly. We understand that. But anyway, today will be Team USA.
My bad.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
You got to watch that cold, man.
I do, yeah.
You taking medicine for that? You probably should start.
Can
you stop being allergic to work?
In oils, actually.
You get some oils for your skin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. You can't do that same bit twice. Anyway.
You can't sneeze twice?
No.
Okay.
Here's my thing on sneezes, and I'm rude about this.
You get 3.
I give people 2.
I give 3.
The third one, I tell you to shut up.
Yep.
You get 2. Third one, I tell you to shut up.
Same.
Which is rough because my brother sneezes like 18,000 times. You get 2. After that, I'm not saying bless you anymore. I'm just saying shut up.
You got to figure it out.
Just shut up. Yeah. I'm not, you know what? I'm not even like, I don't even care if I hurt anybody's feelings on that. Just you sneeze more than twice, you're getting a shut up. That's how it works. There's probably so many people just so upset about that right now.
Good thing it was only twice I did it.
Yeah, that's right. You're good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've told Sam in the chat to shut up multiple times. Anyway, let's get to last night's game. Let's start with the biggest thing, and that was JP Sears, I think. He gave the Padres exactly what they needed yesterday. That's one of the best starts by a Padres pitcher in over a month. And he did his season debut. He had 5 2/3, 2 runs allowed, nearly a quality start, so close. First Padres starter not named Michael King or Walker Buehler to provide that level of performance recently. And Sears was 1 out away from becoming only the third Padres pitcher in 3 weeks to complete a quality start. Think about that. For a team that has given the opponents so many quality starts, you would think their own team would get a little bit more quality starts. Padres pitching staff has been that bad in the starting rotation that they have only been able, if JP Sears got one more out, he would have became the third Padres pitcher in 3 weeks to complete a quality start. That's brutal. That's brutal. But you know what? He did exactly what the Padres needed him to do. He 8 innings up. He gave the Padres an opportunity to win. And that's what you want out of the back end of that rotation. I understand, like today, did you hear, you were working the round table today, right? Behind the scenes. Did you hear the part about like the Griffin Canning situation? I understand that you need pitching, right? Because the consensus was, well, you're going to need the pitching down the road. If you're only giving a guy if you're only giving a team 2/3 of an inning or a couple of innings, like 1 or 2, 3 innings. I mean, if you're putting up the numbers like Griffin Canning is putting up, I know everybody needs pitching. Do you really need like that kind of pitching? I mean, how desperate are teams for pitching? Obviously, the Reds are not that desperate for pitching because they cut a guy that actually has slightly better numbers than Griffin Canning. Same with the Marlins. I mean, I get the narrative of like you need pitching, like every contender needs pitching, but how many times can you roll out Griffin Canning when you can have, and I know it's only one start, you got to give him time. I get it. But you need to see more of like what JP Sears did yesterday and less of what you saw out of Griffin Canning on Tuesday.
I know a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I offered him yesterday if you would like.
No.
You sure?
Yep.
Let me offer to the fans.
No,
here.
I saw the box score for both games yesterday. Absolutely not.
Does anybody want Kodai Senga?
No.
It's been solid this year.
No.
27 2/3 innings, 34 strikeouts. It's not bad. 7 starts. He was hurt earlier.
What's his ERA? What's his whip?
Do you really need to know that?
You're making me not want to make any deals with the New York Mets at all. Yeah, you already pawned off David Peterson, too. You need somebody to pitch for you.
I know, wait.
Anyway, to go back to the serious conversation we were having about Griffin Canning, yes, it's nice to have these pitchers. Yes, you have to give them some leeway to see what you got because you need these guys down the road. But I don't know how many more times you could keep throwing him out there when he's giving you 2/3 of an inning. And even that, even if he gave you just 3 innings, that's still not enough. He's not doing the bare minimum of the back end starter, and that is at least eat up innings and put your team in a position to win. He has failed to do both of those things, unlike JP Sears that just had a great showing of what a back end of the rotation arm should be.
Yeah, JP was fantastic last night. And if it wasn't for the home run at the very end of his outing, that would have been a perfect outing for him. Unbelievable outing for him. 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Walks are a little much, but that's fine, especially for a first start. 81 pitches, 53 strikes. He was fantastic last night. Now it's just building on it and keeping it up.
I mean, the Padres have been desperate for some rotation stability, and just because he did that last night doesn't mean it doesn't mean he's got the spot now. He's got to be able to do it on a more consistent basis because honestly, we have seen every Padres starting pitcher have at least one outing like JP Sears did yesterday. We've seen him at least once. I mean, this is the trade, like the Mason Miller trade. It's like, why did they trade for Sears? Why did they give up Leo DeVries for Mason Miller and JP Sears? Like, just there was a reason why AJ Preller acquired him at the deadline. And, he had struggled. A 4.55 ERA and 97 career starts with the Yankees and A's before San Diego. He was sent to AAA multiple times. He posted a 7.92 ERA and 14 AAA starts this season, which again, those are inflated numbers because of the fact it's in the Pacific Coast League. You want to look at strikeouts and walks, but the Padres organization, believed the AAA numbers were inflated by the PCL and bad luck. And his first start back kind of validated that belief. I mean, I just think it was kind of a good matchup yesterday for JP Sears. He's a lefty going against a heavy lefty lineup that's missing Ronald Acuna Jr. that had, they're dealing with their own problems right now. So I don't think it's necessarily unlocking another starter to this rotation to try to help solidify it. But if JP Sears could do this a couple more times, Frank, they got to keep giving him the ball.
100%. And this is what we talked about last week, where how many more times can you just keep trotting out Griffin Canning and Lucas Giolito when you have guys down the minor leagues that can come up and that can just to see what they have. And this is the first of those cases. And so far it's hit.
And it wasn't just JP Sears last night, because I do want to talk about the offense. Is the offense improving? Or is it actually just like, now is it fixed? Is it actually fixed? We've seen that it is improving. Is the offense actually fixed? We'll discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. The United States is quickly becoming one of the biggest stories of the 2026 World Cup after crushing Paraguay 4-1. Mauricio Pochettino's squad followed it up with a 2-0 win over Australia and has already secured first place in Group D. Suddenly, fans are beginning to ask just how far this team can go. Meanwhile, France has emerged as the team to beat behind Mbappe. Lionel Messi delivered the first World Cup hat trick of his career for Argentina. Oh, and by the way, broke the World Cup goal record with 2 goals against Austria. And Spain answered critics with a dominant 4-0 victory over Saudi Arabia. Cape Verde continues to shock the world. Canada earned its first ever World Cup victory with a 6-0 rout over Qatar. And Turkey has become one of the tournament's biggest disappointments after being eliminated without scoring a goal. Knockout stage is approaching, and the drama is only getting started. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is beginning to separate contenders from pretenders, it's been a fun one to watch, Frank.
No, it absolutely has. And at the moment, France is starting to look like the most complete team in the tournament. They opened up with a statement 3-1 victory over Senegal. Their attack looks terrifying. Kylian Mbappe scored twice, and he is surrounded by incredible talent, including Dembele, uh, Desiree Doué, and the bench with loaded with young stars. Quite simply, France may have the deepest roster. If they stay healthy, they might be the favorites to win the World Cup trophy for the third time.
Messi and Argentina are off to a dream start. At age 38, Lionel Messi continues to make history. In his sixth World Cup appearance, Messi delivered the first World Cup hat trick of his legendary career as Argentina began its title defense in style. Biggest question surrounding Argentina entering the tournament was whether an aging squad could survive the longer 48-team World Cup format. So far, that concern has been put on hold. Defending champions have looked sharp, and Messi is once again proving why he remains one of the greatest players the sport has ever seen. And Frank, we saw it earlier on Monday. He scored 2 goals against Austria. And of course, the penalty kick, one that he, shanks to the right of the right post. It almost looked intentional, because that would have been the World Cup record goal if he made that. It almost seemed like he wanted to do it in real time. And you know what? Not only did he get one, he got another one in extra time. And Argentina won 2-0 over Austria to take a 2-win lead in the table that they're in.
Yep, absolutely. And Argentina is now also advanced into the knockout stages. So that's very impressive for him. And Messi has scored all 5 goals Argentina has scored. And they have a lot of good goal scorers, including Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. He's he's a key contributor for Inter Milan as far as goal scoring is concerned. So they've got guys who could score, but it's been all Lionel Messi so far. One thing that this tournament has been, though, is all the United States, not just because they're playing a lot of the games here. Perhaps no team has exceeded expectations more than the United States. After dismantling Paraguay 4-1 in the opener, the Americans followed it with an impressive 2-0 win over Australia, and that was without Christian Pulisic. Mauricio Pochettino's squad has already won Group D and can rest key players heading into the final match against Turkey, who have already been knocked out of the tournament. This team is playing with confidence, attacking flair, and a style that American fans have rarely seen. The question entering the tournament centered around the chemistry and whether Pochettino had settled on his best lineup. Those concerns have quickly disappeared, and fans are suddenly beginning to wonder just how far this team could go.
I mean, I haven't been on this planet as long as a lot of other people, but this has seemed like one of the best showings we've seen out of Team USA. I mean, and I don't want to, because we always get now in this day and age of the recency bias. And so now all of a sudden, and you've seen it's been fun, oh, let's go win this thing now. Team USA, it's great. And I want to pump the brakes on that, but it's hard to fight some of those urges when you see them play as well as they have. It's not that they're just 2-0. It's the way that they have won and the way that they have adapted and the way that they've led to their attack and the athleticism this team has. And the other thing, we talked about it going into this tournament, the experience. They're not only young, they have experience in the World Cup, which I think is going a long way. They have the perfect combination of youth and experience that could get them into the final 8 in this tournament.
Yeah, and this is also bucking a pretty recent trend of the host nation not really doing all that well in the tournament. South Africa got knocked out in the group stage in 2010. I can't for the life of me remember where 2014 was. 2018 was in Russia. Russia didn't last all that long. 2022 is in Qatar. They were knocked out in the group stage. So now you've seen Mexico already.
All guests, join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. Speaking of guests, Bob Scanlan will be joining us later on today. Be calling us at 1 o'clock. Padres analysts as they Have the off day today here in town. What do you think he's up to on an off day? I guess we can ask him. We talked about that with Jesse Agler of at the Loft. Off days on the road, a little bit more fun than off days at home. Off days on the road, got to go explore, got to go check out a new city, all that stuff. Out off days at home, to-do list of things that you were supposed to do for a time that you keep putting off. It's more of a work day today for the boys that have the off day at home. So he will be joining us today later on in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk about the Padres offense. Now, overall on Monday, even though the Padres only scored 1 run, I thought the at-bats were a lot better. I thought they were putting together better at-bats. I thought they were grinding out pitch counts. I thought they were being patient at the plate. I think you saw that with Xander Bogaerts in his 3 walks. I liked the team approach on Monday, even though they only scored 1 run. Tuesday and Wednesday, again, they looked way better, and they continued to improve. I mean, the Padres offense has obviously been a big concern all season. They had early struggles, poor batting average, low on base percentage. They've had the inability to cash in runners. And the biggest difference recently has been they're creating opportunities. Over the last 17 games, they have a 288 batting average with runners in scoring position. They're 40 for 139. So laid out in the Kevin AC newsletter. And previously had a 131 average with runners in scoring position. The biggest change has not been the power, it's been the pressure. They are walking more. They're getting deeper into counts. They're putting pressure on pitchers. They're creating more innings with traffic. And that is a recipe for success for any team at any level in baseball. So the fact that the Padres are doing that, there's no surprise, Frank, that they have improved their offense.
Yeah, it has gotten a lot better. It's looked a lot better. The team batting average keeps going up on a daily basis, which is always great to see. I wouldn't say it's fixed just yet. I think you need a little bit larger of a sample size of seeing them putting up 5+ runs a game, getting in the double digits in hits, or at least getting close to the double digits in hits in order to say that it's fixed. But for right now, it's definitely trending in the right direction, which is something we have not seen all season long.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that it's been completely fixed yet. I don't necessarily think they need double-digit hits, but I do think that they just need to do this on a more consistent basis, because even in the beginning part of the year where the Padres were not doing this offensively, they had times where they did. So they had a lot of games where they just looked brutal on offense, but they had games where they were doing the right, what seemed to be the right thing of being more patient at the plate, walking more, getting deeper into counts. I'm doing all the little things that make you a pest in the box. We had seen them do that throughout the first 2 months, but it was always almost like a one-off. You'd see it once a week. And that would be the one time a week they would actually put up a lot of runs and look really good. Right now, if they could do this on a consistent basis and do it more times than not, they're going to get all their team numbers back up to a respectable level, and it won't be the worst offense in baseball anymore. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that some of the guys were starting off slow. I think it turned into some pressing. I think with some injuries built in and extra guys having to step up even more, led to what you saw in offense for what was the end of May and all of June. But this is a team that is starting to do a lot more damage at the plate, and it's because they're being patient at the plate. And Ty France, he had a great day yesterday. He's starting to be a stabilizing presence again. He was in a little bit of a funk, but he kind of resurrected in Texas and has continued that on the homestand here for the Padres. Home run, sac fly, double, scored after an extra base hit last night. And his quote summed up the approach at the plate for this team. It's been a grind to get to this point. Hopefully we could just keep it going. And that's why you want to see more consistent at bats like this, because think about how long it has taken him to get to this point in this month, Frank. It's not like they just said, hey, we should probably start hitting again. It's not like they weren't trying to get to this point. Mm-hmm. It's taken them a long time. They can't really afford to go on another slump where they got to come all the way back to this point.
No, they really can't. And for this offense starting to turn around, you're also seeing them hit into the gap. You're seeing them rope it down the line. They're getting extra base hits. It's not just dink and dunk singles here and there, death by 1,000 cuts. They're hitting the ball. And for Ty France last night to hit a home run, get a double, and then you've got guys like, again, keep saying it, Samad Taylor. 2 RBI single, extended the lead, made it 5-2 last night, and I believe it was the 6th inning on a beautifully hit ball too, because once that ball hit the outfield grass, it just sat. It died, and it allowed the 2 runs to score. So
On the green.
exactly. And I
Like
mean,
Wii Sports. Nice on.
But it really goes to show that you're getting now the big guys to get extra base hits, and the contributors are knocking them in, which is exactly what you've been waiting all season for this offense to do.
And I'm glad you brought up Samad Taylor, because that was where I was going to go with this next. I mean, he's changed the energy. When they decided to part ways with Nick Castellanos, and then, Ramon Laureano got placed on the injured list, and they started bringing up these young guys, what did we say? It could be a spark. And there's a lot of people in the YouTube chat that are like, what are these young guys that are not top prospects, that are, have bounced around professional baseball? How are they going to spark these superstar guys? Or even better yet, why do you need to have these guys get a spark? Well, you know what? Samad Taylor has changed the energy of this team, and his approach at the plate is chaos. I mean, he's constantly showing bunt. He's constantly flashing bunt, which results in the defense having to react to it, right? You got to be able to cover, because Samad's fast. So it puts the defense in uncomfortable positions. I mean, constantly showing bunt, manipulating defenses, creating uncomfortable at-bats. I mean, he even said it like, it opens up holes. It brings the third baseman in, it brings the first baseman in. And as you talked about with the hit he got yesterday, a lot of those extra little spots that he's been able to exploit have come off the fact that teams are worried about him dropping a bunt for a hit, because he's proven he could do that. So Samad Taylor's been that player that's been the, changing of the energy, Frank.
Oh, he absolutely has. And for him, I'm trying to find his numbers here for the season. I didn't have them up.
Since June 3rd call-up, I got him.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Well, I have some, but since his June 3rd call-up, Samad Taylor has hit safely in 14 of 15 starts, has at least 1 run or RBI in 12 of 15 starts, and he's batting .243 with 2 strikes, well above league average. That is more detailed stats than probably what you were looking for.
Yeah, he's hitting .379 with a home run, 11 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. He's also scored 11 runs with an OPS of 886. He has been a lightning bolt for this team.
Tony said it on the roundtable today. It's like, it's Major League Baseball is all about opportunity.
Yep.
And getting fire from guys that get an opportunity. And he brought up Martin Perez, who, consequently was the pitcher last night for the Atlanta Braves. But when the Padres acquired Martin Perez, nobody thought he was going to do what he did for the Padres. But it was the opportunity. Samad Taylor. When they brought up Samad Taylor after Jace Bowen. Now, Jace Bowen was expected to get the call because he had so many home runs in AAA. And the biggest question was whether or not he was going to be able to maintain that at the big leagues, which he has yet to do. Because a big problem of it, of course, was that Jace Bowen had a ton of strikeouts in AAA. But when you pulled up Jace Bowen, it was like, okay, well, this guy might hit a couple of home runs, he's going to strike out a lot. We'll see if he does anything. And then Ramon Laureano got hurt, and then they brought up Samad Taylor, who we briefly saw in spring training, but not enough. And it was maybe they could bring a spark, but it wasn't necessarily maybe this guy is going to be somebody that's going to start for 15 games. This isn't going to be a guy that, is starting to force himself into an everyday conversation. And this is going to be a guy that is, I don't know, been probably your hottest player over the last 15 games. I mean, he has done a remarkable job, but it's still only been 15 games. So, like, I'm not really in on the, is Samad Taylor forcing himself into the Padres' long-term plans? Right now, he has the signs of doing that, but he's going to have to keep doing this on a consistent basis. But we said that a couple of weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And sure enough, Frank, he's still hitting over 300. He's still doing a lot of the things that he was doing his first couple of days in the big leagues.
Samad Taylor played 31 games for Kansas City in 2023. That's the most he's played in a single season. Scored 11 runs. He has equaled his career high in runs in a single season in half the time. 22 hits to 12 that season. He has doubled, little less than doubled his hit total. He has gotten 10 more total bases than what he had. He hit his first career home run. He has tripled his career RBI total in half the time he did it in Kansas City. He has been phenomenal since joining this team.
He has been. I mean, he's been fun to watch too. He plays an exciting game.
Incredible.
It's just, but it's just like old. It's kind of like old school baseball.
Yeah,
he's not wowing you with hitting the ball over the fence. He's not hitting moonshot home runs. He's not boom or bust, but he puts the ball in play. He uses his wheels. He makes athletic plays. I mean, he plays an old school style of baseball, and I like watching it. Being able to drop out a bunt for a base hit is phenomenal. It's great. Being able to, flash bunt, pull back. I mean, and open up other holes. He's playing a smart game. And it's been a huge reason why this team has been performing the way that they have. The other big one is the bullpen. Bullpen's saving a lot of games right now. And after Griffin Canning lasted only 2 outs in his previous outing, San Diego needed some length from Sears. Instead of asking the entire bullpen to cover innings again, Sears gave them some breathing room. Relievers David Morgan, Wandy Peralta, Jason Adam combined for 3 1/3 scoreless innings. Recent bullpen numbers allowed 2 runs in 18 2/3 innings over the last 4 games, 1.54 ERA over the last 15 games. We talked about this early, or we talked about this on the roundtable, but when you look at this bullpen and you look at this team, because we're getting close to the midway point of the year. I think Saturday's game is game 81 is what Jesse said.
Yeah.
When you look at where this team is right now, I'm just talking about overall record. Are they where you think they would be record-wise, worse than they would be like at the beginning of the season, or better? I think most of us said like they're kind of right around where we thought they would be record-wise.
I agree.
And when you look at a step further, Ben Higgins brought up the fact of the bullpen, the starting rotation, and the hitting. Offense is way worse than I thought it was going to be. Even with them being better, it's way worse than I thought they were going to be. The starting rotation is kind of iffy, but the bullpen has been as advertised. And they've had spots where they haven't been completely lights out, but it's a full season. You're not going to see that all the time. But this bullpen has been as advertised. They've been a big reason why this team is winning. And this is another big reason why you got to get better production out of your starting rotation to be able to save your bullpen a little bit. JP Sears did that last night, gave the bullpen an opportunity to win the game for you.
Yeah, the starting rotation, I think, for most of the season has been better than advertised. You got a lot of quality starts from a lot of different guys, and you're only seeing Walker Buehler get better as he's starting to get more comfortable in his role. And as we said at the beginning of the week, the offense forcing the starting rotation to be inch perfect every single game is what is hurting the rotation now. So I would say the bullpen has been demonic as expected. The starting rotation up until recently has been outdoing every expectation I think that we had set for them. And the lineup is now finally starting to get towards those expectations that we had set after massively underperforming all season long.
Bullpen's been great. Offense starting to get better. And you know what? There's signs of life in the starting rotation, especially with this week. Michael King was great. 2 days ago was rough. Like the way JP Sears pitched. I mean, you're starting to see this team come together a little bit, which is a lot better than what people thought going into this series. And is help coming? Maybe a little bit. I mean, the Padres have received some positive updates on 2 injured starters. For Nick Pivetta through another bullpen session. He could potentially return late July. Joe Musgrove threw off the front slope of the mound, returning from Tommy John surgery and elbow cartilage issues. He's likely behind Pivetta. But obviously that timing matters, because if the Padres can survive until after the All-Star break, you might be able to add to this rotation from within in Pivetta and Musgrove, and that definitely improves this rotation significantly. But as we mentioned the last couple of days, that's not really a plan. It's not really a plan. Hopefully this news is something that can happen, or at least give you an opportunity to make a decision before the trade deadline if you need to add another starting pitcher to this team.
Which I think they will. You have to add a starting pitcher at this point, and there are teams that now are going to have starting pitchers becoming available because they're starting to fall off the face of the earth. And whether or not you think you can fix, there are some guys that you can work with that are bargain options. That's something you may have to take. But again, with AJ Preller, you never know what he's thinking.
They sweep the Braves. Does it matter? I think it does. I honestly, I think it does. I really don't care how many players they're missing, because nobody sheds a tear when the Padres are missing players or banged up and they get swept by the Angels, right? Like from a couple of years ago. Nobody cares that the Padres get lost 2 out of 3 to some bad teams this year, right? And you don't make the excuse of, oh, they didn't get to face our best pitcher. And the Padres have faced enough aces this year where like missing Chris Sale it's about time. So I think it's important that they swept Atlanta. That's still a really good baseball team over there, and sweeping a Major League Baseball team in general is incredibly hard to do. That's why it doesn't happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the Padres sweeping the Braves, I think is good, and it leads into the bigger test, which is the Dodgers series. But even then, and we'll talk more about the Dodgers series tomorrow. You're 9 games out of first place. It's not like neck and neck for first. It's going to be a fun series. So you can't say it's just like any other series, but like on the field, it kind of is. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like that. It's probably a little bit more excitement from the fans, a little bit more. I think we're making good strides with like not overhyping the series, and hopefully that leads to a series win against the Dodgers. Could you imagine if they win 2 out of 3 against LA, they'd go 5-1 on the 6-game homestand against 2 first place teams in the National League.
And that's got to give you a lot of confidence going into Chicago, who's playing a solid schedule right now as well. Then after that, you've got the Dodgers again, I believe for 4 this time over the 4th of July weekend. And then, Toronto to close out. I mean, that'll give you a lot of momentum going in. Arizona and then Toronto.
Which is very much necessary.
Yes.
For the second half of the season. I know it's not who you play, it's when you play them, but based on the schedule and how it's shaping up and what teams are going to be on that second half schedule post deadline, they're going to be, they're going to be a shell of themselves by the time the Padres play them. So, starting pitching needs to still improve a little bit. I like the way JP Sears pitched yesterday. Overall, it was a good team win for the San Diego Padres, which is what you want to see. A sweep over Atlanta is awesome. And right now I think the Padres, I look at this as like to get them getting back on track. I feel like they just have gotten back on track with this sweep. And I think it gives a little bit more juice to fans going into this weekend series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the question now becomes, and I think it's an interesting topic of discussion, like, are the Padres finally becoming the team we expected them to be? It's kind of hard to say because at this point, the Padres record-wise are like kind of where you would expect them to be at the beginning of the season, but you're starting to see the offense play better. You're starting to see some better starting pitching. You have already seen the elite bullpen production. Are the Padres finally becoming the team we expected at the beginning of the year? We'll have that conversation when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing as over Sports Station 97 to the Fan. 11 o'clock on a Thursday. Padres off day, coming off of a 3-game series sweep of a first-place team in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves. Padres will not be done playing first-place teams. They will now take on the Los Angeles Dodgers for a 3-game series this weekend here at home. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm looking forward to, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. I'm looking forward to Walker Buehler going against the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure to see how he reacts against his former team, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be great. We'll see how he does. Hopefully, it's very good because that would be nice, of course. Let's get to some other things that I wanted to talk about here on the show, if you will, that we talked about going to break. There's a couple of questions that I want to answer together. And the first question is this: are the Padres finally becoming the team we expected? Now, for weeks, the question was whether this roster was fundamentally flawed. And now they swept Atlanta. They're getting the better offense. They're getting some better starting pitching. We already knew they had the elite bullpen production. So is this the beginning of the Padres turning their season around? It's only been 3 games, Frank, but I think they're starting to put things in the right direction right now from a team standpoint. And when you had to hear Craig Stammen for the last 2 months talk about in the media, hey, back of the baseball card, we're going to turn it around. Our stars are going to play better. We're better than this. It was a lot of eye rolling because it started to become an everyday occurrence. But I think you're starting to see that a little bit. So are the Padres finally becoming the team we expected them to be?
Yes and no. You could see it starting, even though you lost the series, you could see it starting in Texas. You could see it starting a little bit before that. You were starting to get more runs, more hits on a consistent basis. And now the reward comes by sweeping Atlanta. I think they're in that direction for sure. I still think it's a little bit too short a sample size for it to say that, yeah, they are the team, or they are close to being the team that we thought they would be.
They're starting to, hopefully they start to get even more, they get healthier, with guys like Luis Camposano. I mean, they got Freddie Fermin back, which is nice. And then, of course, they got to get some of the pitching back. Maybe Jake Cronenworth eventually can come back. But you're starting to see the offense creating more chances. You're starting to see, the stars being capable of carrying stretches. The bullpen remains elite. So, if they continue to play like this, then yes, I would agree that they're finally becoming the team we expected, because the last couple of days you're starting to see it. I would even go back to Baltimore. When they were in Baltimore, they started to look like a team that could play. The offense was getting a lot better in Baltimore, and I know it's a hitter-friendly ballpark, but I like what they did in Baltimore. In St. Louis, I mean, it was more of a pitching issue than anything else in St. Louis. I mean, they did score a lot of runs in St. Louis, even though they only went 1-2. In Texas, they scored a lot of runs. Again, I just thought it was a little bit of pitching as well. I think you have now seen collectively for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, the offense play better. So I think they're slowly starting to turn into that team that we expected at the beginning of the year. And we talked about expectations in terms of record at this point in time. They're kind of around the spot that we thought they would be playing at. But offensively, they're starting to get to a point where they're where I think most people thought they would be, which is encouraging to see. They're still not doing it in a consistent basis, though. And the rotation does remain fragile. And they have been struggling. They have beaten struggling teams recently. So I guess that adds to the factor as well. So I would give those kind of the arguments why they are not fully there yet. But I think you're slowly starting to see the signs of what this team is and what this team can be. Let's move on to JP Sears. He looked pretty good yesterday. We briefly talked about his rotation solution. I still think he's kind of a temporary fix. I mean, He nearly went 6 innings. He limited damage. He saved the bullpen. Can Sears be the 4th or 5th starter when everyone returns? I'm going to have to see at least 5 to 8 more starts like this or close to it before I could say, yeah, JP Sears is definitely part of this rotation.
I would agree with that. 1 start's not enough, especially for a guy with the track record that JP Sears has. I would need to see at least a good month worth of starts, 5 or 6 starts, before I'm ready to crown him as a fixture in the rotation, which you're hoping for, because that just means that it then turns into the JP Sears trade, not the Mason Miller trade.
JP Sears would have to win a Cy Young Award and then maybe win it back-to-back years for you to
league MVP.
ever call that trade the JP Sears trade. And then you got to hope like Leo DeVries didn't turn into like an MVP candidate. I mean, think about all the things that would have to happen to make that make it the JP Sears trade. You know what? Last night, Frank, step in that direction. Step in that direction.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? Got to start somewhere. I agree with that. Speaking of starting somewhere, Samad Taylor started somewhere here with the Padres. Is Samad Taylor the type of player the Padres need?
Yes.
Was he the player the player that the Padres needed?
100%.
Why?
Because of the spark that he's given this team and the fact that he's doing a little bit of everything. He can score, he can run, he's getting clutch hits. When was the last time he failed in a clutch moment?
Let's not talk that into existence, but I don't remember.
Well, no, I'm just
saying.
He is,
and he's not the guy that you're
time.
asking to do that either.
Exactly. He has been there every single time you needed him and some, whether it's dropping down a bunt hit, whether it's just knowing his place and plopping one into right field to drive a couple runs in. He has been absolutely phenomenal and has been the perfect, most impactful pickup that they have had so far this season. And it wasn't even a pickup. It was a call-up.
He's not the traditional impact player.
No.
Not a huge power hitter, not a superstar prospect, but he creates chaos.
At that point, at the point of the season when he came up, all you needed was somebody to do something right and create a little bit of energy, and that's exactly what he did. He went out there, did everything right, created energy, created chaos that everyone else fed off of.
I mean, when you talk about October baseball, do teams need players like Taylor? I think absolutely. He's the type of player on a 26-man roster. He's player 26. He's the guy to come in to pinch run. He's the guy to come in to be a defensive replacement in the outfield. He is that like super utility guy that makes stuff happen. And he's kind of the role that you were expecting Bryce Johnson to kind of be, that he wasn't able to be at least this year, but he was a little bit last year. Like he had over 300 last year, Bryce Johnson did. So he changes the game with his speed. He forces a lot of mistakes. He gives you a lot of lineup flexibility. I need to see it more than just 15 games, but if he continues to play close to this and you go acquire a left fielder, I mean, he's going to be an asset come end of the season and come October. I mean, this is the type of guy you want on your team. I mean, you want a lot of guys like Samad Taylor on your team.
Yep. You want everyone to have at least the energy and the lightning in a bottle effect that he has had. You want everyone to be like that, but he has done exactly what he is asked to do and then some. And that sometimes is enough to wake some guys up.
So we talked about the offense as a whole from the standpoint of, more so on the team. Are they becoming the team that we expect them to be? Should Padres fans believe the offensive improvement? The offense is getting on base more. The production still feels inconsistent, but it seems like the process is being a little bit more constant than the results are. And if you're trusting to that process of more walks, more traffics, better with runners in scoring position, eventually I think the results will come, even though they're not getting probably the amount of runs they want. They probably need more power. They probably need more starts to produce. I mean, they're kind of in between right now, but should Padres fans believe the offensive improvement based on the process over the results right now?
I wouldn't believe it yet, but I would definitely be encouraged by what I'm seeing. The fact that you're finally starting to see the results, you're starting to see guys start to kick out of their slumps. I would be encouraged by it, but because it has gone so awry for so long, and it's been a week and a half that the offense has looked back to normal and looked back to what you would have expected it to be, I wouldn't believe it just yet.
I think they should believe it because the process is consistent. They're walking more. They're putting more traffic on the bases. I mean, they're slowly getting more, they're getting better results with runners in scoring position. The problem would have been if they're not getting guys in scoring position. That's not the problem. They are doing that, even when they're not driving them in. I mean, a lot of that just is flaws of just baseball in general and built on failure. But in terms of what matters more, and I'll let you answer this after, but I think the process improving matters more than the results right now at this point in the season, because I think it's going to eventually lead to the results. And so therefore I think Padres fans, you should believe that this offense is turning it around, because a lot of these are not one-offs. Even on days that they don't have the big number of runs, they're still walking more. They're still putting together good at-bats. And I attribute that to Monday night. Monday night, they had one run. Monday night, they had a lot of action on the bases. Monday night, they had a lot of guys getting on base. They just didn't get that big hit. But that definitely shows the consistency of they are finding ways to get on base.
Really quick.
Squirrel.
Fielder pitching alert in Tampa Bay right now. Back to the point at hand. I agree that, yes, it is very, very encouraging to see now that you're finally getting the results for the process. It's just that consistency, and no offense is going to be consistent on a daily basis. You're not going to get 10 hits a night every single night. That's just not going to happen. But again, I still want to see the production be able to maintain. It's great that the process is working. It's great that now you're starting to see results coming from that process. I want to see the results a little bit more sustained before I'm ready to say, yes, the offense is fixed and is working the way it's supposed to.
Right, but I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm just asking, do you believe that it's improving? It's
improving. It's 100%
100%.
improving. Yes, not a doubt that it is 100% improving.
Dodgers series, the real test. Brave sweep was encouraging, but the Dodgers remain the measuring stick. I do want to talk about this a little bit today, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. I don't want to make it sound like it's not going to be fun, because there's more energy to this. You feel the playoff type of atmosphere in these games. And here's what Jesse brought up, and I totally agree with this. There's more than just SoCal that's watching this series now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the one that they advertise on MLB Network, or back when ESPN was airing most of the Major League Baseball games in the primetime slot. This is the Red Sox Yankees. It's overtaken Dodgers and Giants right now. It's the current version of Dodgers Giants in terms of, like, out on the West Coast rivalry, two teams that are going to be better. But they're going to be playoff teams probably at the end of the year. I mean, this is fun. So everything about this series is big time for Major League Baseball. It's a good series for Major League Baseball. But the more I look at this series, like, the more I'm not like, oh man, this is like everything is about this series. It's really not. I mean, and I honestly don't really think it's that big of a measuring stick either, because as I look at it, the Padres have proven now in the last handful of years that they can compete with LA in some sort of capacity. Okay. And what I mean by that is, no, they're not going to trade blows on winning World Series, because we haven't seen that yet, especially from an organization that's never done it before. But I'm talking from a standpoint of going back to what it was like before Manny Machado showed up, of they had no chance. And it was just like such a lopsided roster configuration and lopsided results. Right now, you know that they can compete with LA. You know that they can go toe-to-toe with them. You know, if you play up to the level of competition, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. I don't think you need to see if they can handle their pitching. I don't think you need to see if their rotation could survive. I think this is a series of we got to go out there and take care of business against a good team that we're going to have to face again multiple times, that we're going to have to face the following week. And then most likely in October, aside from that, the end all be all of these series now, I think San Diego is starting to graduate their way out of that feeling of every single game in this Dodgers series matters more than all the other games in Major League Baseball.
And speaking to that national draw that this series has become, you're on Apple TV Plus tomorrow. You're on MLB Network. You'll still have the local stuff tomorrow, but they'll be on Saturday. But they'll be on MLB Network on Saturday. And the only thing I'm sure that's keeping you off of NBC this weekend is the fact that the Yankees are playing the Red Sox this weekend as well. So that national draw 100% is absolutely there for this series, and it's because it has been so competitive. The Dodgers have absolutely had the upper hand on the Padres in the regular season. But when it comes to playoff time, those two teams bring out the best in each other. And if it wasn't for 24 straight scoreless innings, Padres would be 2-0 against the Dodgers in the postseason.
Yeah, they would be. So should be a fun one this weekend. Again, I don't think it needs to be something that needs to be more hype than it really is.
No.
And, I think if I'm not, I got to check. Somebody in the YouTube chat put this out there because we had some injury updates. And yeah, according to the El Paso Chihuahuas 4 minutes ago, Jake Cronenworth is scheduled to begin his MLB rehab assignment tonight.
Well, good.
Against Sugarland.
Good to see.
So having Jake Cronenworth back, look, I know he hadn't been playing very well up until the point, but if you could get something out of Jake Cronenworth when he comes back, it's a nice little upgrade to this roster. He's been playing with, I'll say it, I mean, a lot of El Paso Chihuahuas as it is that have done a really good job of keeping this team afloat. So Jake Cronenworth scheduled to begin his MLB rehab assignment tonight against Sugarland. That's what the El Paso Chihuahuas have tweeted out. That's going to be something to watch for, I think, going into the weekend. So hopefully Jake can get some good rehab assignment at bats in and get back to his playing level, and we'll see him in a Padres uniform soon, hopefully. So we'll keep you updated on how his rehab assignment goes. When we come back, an analytical look at what JP Sears did last night. Is it sustainable? Is there reason for optimism? We'll get to that next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a
College
kid.
Sports may be one step closer to federal regulation. A major bill called the Protect College Sports Act just passed a key Senate committee and could completely reshape the future of the NCAA. Bill would restore some power to the NCAA, enforce spending caps, regulate transfers, and create national NIL standards. But here's the biggest fight. The SEC and the Big Ten aren't fully on board. Why? Because the bill could limit their financial advantages and potentially reshape how television money is distributed. It also aims to stop the formation of a college football super league. So now the question becomes, should the richest conferences decide the future of college sports, or should Congress step in to protect everyone else? Because one thing is becoming obvious, the future of college athletics may no longer be in the NCAA's hands. One of the biggest stories in college athletics this week happened on Capitol Hill. The proposed Protect College Sports Act advanced out of the Senate Commerce Committee with a bipartisan 19-9 vote, moving one step closer to potentially becoming federal law. The legislation, introduced by Senators Ted Cruz, Maria Cantwell, now heads towards the Senate floor, where it would still need 60 votes to pass. The bill represents perhaps the strongest attempt yet to bring order to a college sports landscape that many administrators believe has become increasingly chaotic.
Yeah, the legislation would provide the NCAA with antitrust protections and restore some of its authority after years of losing legal battles. Among the provisions, it would allow the NCAA to limit transfers and eligibility, enforce spending caps tied to athlete compensation, preventing coaches from leaving schools during the season, require schools to preserve women's sports and Olympic programs, create national NIL standards instead of a patchwork of state laws, and it would also provide health protections for athletes. Supporters say this bill would give college sports a much needed bit of stability. Meanwhile, critics argue that it could give the NCAA too much power again and potentially restrict athletes' rights.
You need rules for competition, though. Like,
Yes.
that's the thing. It's like, I mean, yeah, at the grand scheme of things, like a lot of these rules in place in all leagues restrict athletes' rights to an extent, but like there's rules in place for sports that you need. This is not any other business. This is a sports-driven business with competition. It changes the dynamic of things. It's interesting that's like, if that's the biggest argument against it, I don't see how that's going to win out in the grand scheme of things, just as much as we talk about when it comes to the labor negotiations in Major League Baseball. Now, here's where things get interesting: the TV rights and battle over revenue. This is the most controversial aspect of the legislation because it involves television rights. The bill creates a pathway for all FBS schools to pool future media rights together, potentially creating a more balanced financial system across college athletics. Supporters believe this could generate billions and reduce the growing gap between conferences, but that's where resistance begins because the two wealthiest conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, have withheld their support. In a joint statement, both conferences said revisions are still needed before they can endorse legislation. Their concern is simple. They don't want to sacrifice the massive financial advantages they've built through their own television deals. Well, if you're going to sit there and tell me everything about these are student athletes, we got to make more rules about the competition, everything like that, you can't then go on your high horse and then talk about, oh, well, we still want to make as much money as humanly possible. Like, we got to collectively fix all of these problems. You can't pick and choose when you want rules.
Now, as you know, I am an unofficial member of the Big Ten PR staff. This bill needs to go through. I don't care what the Big Ten wants to say. I don't care what the SEC say. This is something that needs to happen because what you're going to do is you're going to drive a wedge between what the fans of your sport want to see and where the moneyed interest is. It's ridiculous at this point. Can we please just do something, one and singular thing for the people watching it and not focus entirely on the profit motive, please, just with one thing. So now what we're trying to do with this legislation here is prevent a super league, a college football super league. Another major component of this bill targets the growing fear of a breakaway super league. The latest version includes language designed to prevent conferences, schools, or even outside private equity groups from creating a separate league outside of the NCAA. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has publicly dismissed accusations that the SEC and the Big Ten are plotting a breakaway, instead arguing that private equity firms represent a larger threat. The revised bill expands its protections beyond just the SEC and the Big Ten and includes the ACC and the Big 12 as well.
$11:24 on a Thursday. Padres and Dodgers getting underway this weekend. Still get your tickets at Padres.com/tickets. Walker Buehler going against his former team tomorrow. Should be a good one against the Dodgers this weekend. Padres coming off of a 3-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, let's talk about JP Sears and how he did yesterday. Look at it from an analytical standpoint. This was his first outing of 2026. First MLB start of the year, I should say, at the major league level. You've been pitching in AAA for the Chihuahuas. And his first start of the year for the Padres was solid and a very encouraging start for the Padres and for JP Sears. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits, gave up the 1 home run, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts on 81 pitches. and he earned the win in the Padres 5-2 sweep completing victory over the Atlanta Braves. He was called up the day before, after Lucas Giolito landed on the injured list with right elbow inflammation. And we look at the pitching list breakdowns all the time, which is you can find on their Twitter account. And the pitcher list PLV chart gives a very clear picture. He had some pretty good grades last night. Box score got a B. Locations got a B minus. His stuff was a C. PLV grade was a C. But out of all the pitchers the Padres have used the last couple of weeks, not too bad. Did he just give up a home run?
No, he gave up a nuke is what he did.
He gave up a walk first, though, right?
Yeah, he gave up a walk, struck out Tolbert, and then Danny Jansen just sent one to
St. Pete.
No, St. Pete doesn't do that home run justice. He sent it to South Carolina.
We were talking about JP Sears, but the Tampa Bay Rays have a 13-0 lead on the Kansas City Royals with 1 out.
Had
in the 9th inning. I'm setting it up. 13-0 lead, top of the 9th inning, 1 out. They have a no-hitter going now through 8 1/3. Craig Kimbrell is in to pitch the 9th inning. I didn't even know Craig Kimbrell was still employed. I think Craig Kimbrell's got to be what was that game? Grid. He's got to be an immaculate grid answer that works almost all the time.
Yeah.
How many teams? That's a good trivia question. Name all the teams that Craig Kimbrell played for.
He was
a Brave.
No, he was a Met this year, got DFA'd, and then the Rays picked him up.
That's just this year. I'm talking about he was a Brave, he was a Padre, he was a Red Sox.
You spent time in Anaheim?
Was he a Cub?
I believe he was a Cub.
I think he was a Cub. Okay.
Carter Jensen, my bad.
How many teams has he played for? I got to look this up now. See if I can guess this. So anyway, he comes in, he gives up a 2-run bomb to Carter Jensen to lose the team no-hitter. That's brutal. All right, he's played for 11 teams. Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
You cheater. I was going to have you guess.
You wanted to guess.
No, I didn't want to guess. He's been on 11 different teams. He's only been on 3 teams for more than a year, though. Chicago, Boston, Atlanta. He spent a year in Philly. He's played for I forgot he played for the Dodgers.
I don't even remember him being in Philadelphia.
He was in Philadelphia. He was an all-star in Philadelphia in 2023.
No recollection of that.
He actually played the whole season in Philadelphia that year. This guy's played for 11 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, both Chicagos, Philly, LA, Padres, Baltimore, Mets, Astros, Rays. I don't remember him being an Astro, but I guess he was for 13 games last year. 0.3 WAR, 0-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Yeah, he still does the arm thing. I mean, was he good for anybody like in the last whatever?
No.
He had a 3.75 ERA for the Dodgers.
Just keep that in our back pocket for the end of August.
How about him playing for the Cubs and the White Sox in the same year? That made things easier. You talked about Peters getting traded and trading dugouts. This guy could stay in the same house. He just had to drive south instead of north. Craig Kimbrell. Oh my God. He comes into a 13-0 game to finish out the no-hitter. He gives up a bomb. Oh my God. The Rays look so pissed off.
I mean, Seymour was at like 87 pitches. I guarantee you, with the way they were swinging at his nonsense that he was throwing up there, it would not have taken him 23 pitches to get to this point in the ninth inning.
I know. Craig Kimbrell's got 23 pitches in the 9th inning. He's the only guy that has given up any type of damage today for the Tampa Bay Rays. I got to look at the box score now. So the pitches. So
they used an opener.
Yeah, Legomena was an opener for 1 1/3. Seymour went 6 2/3, 7 strikeouts and a walk. Could you imagine if Seymour didn't walk anybody? And like Kimbrel had given up the perfect game,
The
and then
leadoff walk,
and then the no hitter almost back to back. Oh, and the shutout. They didn't even get a shutty for that. Did get a sword to end the game though. Rays win 13-2.
I don't know what Caglione was doing there.
Oh boy. Well, that's not fun. Okay, let's get back to JP Sears.
And the outfielders only gave that a courtesy. I swear the outfielders only gave that a courtesy trot because they didn't want to make Kimbrel feel bad.
They're dapping up Seymour right now.
As they should.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, sorry, Craig's old and can't pitch anymore.
Sorry, the geriatric messed it up.
Yeah. The Kevin Cash problem. He was looking at the binder too much. Rays win. All right, let's get back to what Let's get back to what JP Sears did last night. Overall box score grade was a B. Locations was a B minus. Got a C for his stuff. PLV grade got a C. He had 10 whiffs on and a 22% called strike whiff rate. Very respectable swing and miss and chase numbers for a first start. Primarily through his fastball, 92.6 miles an hour, which is up slightly from his 2025 average. That's good. Got solid extension and movement profile on those pitches. Played as his most used pitch. I mean, he used about 39% of the time, and it held its own. Sweeper stood out as his best pitch yesterday. 47% called strike whiff rate on the sweeper. Strong whiff rate for him. Good metrics. He threw 17 of them and generated a lot of good swing and miss. Changeup, he threw 21 times. Most of the damage that he gave up was on the changeup, so that's obviously a pitch that he has to work on. But, he left one up in the zone of Joey Bart for a 2-run homer in the 6th inning that ended his night. Again, the changeup, a little bit off. He had a B-plus locations against lefties, C-plus for righties. Generally was around the zone, but not necessarily elite. Other notes, slider and his cutter were low usage. Sweeper, changeup, fastball made up the bulk of his mix. 81 pitches for 5 2/3 innings. Very efficient and did pretty well. I mean, only 2 walks, and he worked quickly for a guy who had a 7.92 ERA in 14 AAA starts this year. That's a very noticeable step up in control. I get he's not in the PCL and he was pitching in a hitters-friendly ballpark. I'm sure pitching in the PCL sucks if you are a fly ball pitcher like he is. But I thought last night's start was encouraging for JP Sears and the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, he looked great last night, and especially after what the last we saw of him. I mean, that was really getting rough to watch, the last we saw of him. And now he comes back. Again, one outing, a very, very solid day for him. And again, it would have been a perfect day if it wasn't for, I believe it was Mauricio Dubon that hit that home run, yes?
Last night?
Yeah.
That was Joey Bart.
Oh, Joey Bart.
Dubon hit one on Tuesday.
Yeah, he did hit one in this series. If it wasn't for Joey Bart hitting that home run, it would have been the perfect outing for him.
What went well for JP Sears? Efficiency and command, which is hard for us to say with a lot of starting pitchers for the Padres in the last couple of weeks. Only 2 walks. He worked quickly. That was good. Swing and miss stuff was good. 10 whiffs and an usable sweeper against a very good Braves lineup, despite who they might be missing. Velocity and life on his fastball, which is awesome, and results in a tough spot. I mean, for a guy that had to be thrown into the rotation on short notice against a strong offense, he kept the Padres in a position to win, and that's what they did. They went out and won the game. He had the one big mistake, elevated the changeup against Bart. He did give up some hard contact. He had 5 hits allowed, including the homer. So wasn't dominant, but it was still, results were still better than the underlying stuff grade suggested. And obviously limited track record lately. It's hard. It's good for a bounce back for him, especially the struggles in El Paso. So bottom line, kind of a B grade for JP Sears, something to build on, hopefully, for the San Diego Padres. When we come back, got some news in the labor negotiations. It just came out 2 minutes ago from Evan Drellich. We're going to get to that in the next segment. We will continue to talk Padres baseball as well. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right. This was not something that we were going to talk about today here. There was, we were going to talk a little bit about the potential draft proposal a little bit for Major League Baseball later on in the show. But as of right now, this wasn't really on our topic list today, but it just came down. So Evan Drellich, who covers a lot for The Athletic, but he's a senior writer for The Athletic and author of Winning Fixes Everything. He has been on these labor negotiations from the get-go, and he just tweeted this out at 11:31, so like 10 minutes ago. Major League Baseball today said that if the players accept a salary cap, it would make the minimum salary $1 million for players with at least 2 years of service time, $900,000 with potential for $100,000 more for players with 0 to 1 years of service, eliminate qualifying offers, eliminate deferred salary for future contracts, no change to arbitration process. This is a decent start, I think, Frank, in the labor negotiations for a salary cap, because I think some of the perks that they have listed are good for the players. I don't think this is something that they will sign off on, but I think this really tells you they got their heels in the sand and they're going after a salary cap. Not that we really needed anybody to tell us that, but this definitely proves what we have been thinking.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the only thing right there, I think the arbitration is going to need to change. I think that's about it. I can't, as you said, walking out of here, going to get coffee, you said that they're going to turn the middle class players against the top class, the top 1% of players with these kind of things, which is what they really need to do. If you can get the majority of players to go along with this, I don't see how the Players Association can keep the majority voice down, especially if it gets loud enough. And with Major League Baseball and the owners right now having the public opinion on their side. So I've liked everything so far that Major League Baseball has put out. I think, though, arbitration is going to have to change in some way, shape, or form in order for it to be a little bit more enticing.
Let's think about it from like the perspective of the Padres right now for the arbitration. Like, this is just the perspective of it. And honestly, the arbitration needs to change. As a fan of the team, like, yeah, it's great to have control over guys forever. But if you're going to go with the salary cap that makes everything kind of fair play in terms of paying, you got to let these guys have a chance to go earn their money when they can. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So Bradley Rodriguez is 22. He's going to be, this is his age 22 season. He is pre-arbitration. He is pre-arbitration for the rest of this year, all of 2027, all of 2028. He's arbitration 1 in 2029, arbitration 2 in 2030, arbitration 3 in 2031. The Padres have 6 more years of control. So they're going to have him for his age 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 season. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you might want to be if you're going to give out the $1 million to the first year guys, it's almost like you should just get rid of pre-arb and you just start with arbitration the first year after your first full year of service time.
That
knocks off 2 years. So you would have
basically it's pre-arb and then the 3 years of arbitration. Your rookie year is pre-arb and then it's arbitration for your
rookie year.
Okay with that.
You get league men regardless, and then your sophomore year, it's arbitration. So the teams still have years of control, and really the only league minimum guys that exist are rookies and then free agents willing to take a minimum contract. And that's on your initial deal, right? Like once you hit free agency, it should be like, all right, if you want to sign this guy, minimum it has to be this.
Yeah.
I
Your
honestly
league
think
minimum.
they should probably get rid of minor league contracts to an extent, but that would just open too much of a can of worms of how would they figure out what the minimum is for the minor league. It's just,
Yeah.
I get that. But I think that's a big reason why, Frank, they want to change the draft to not have to worry about paying as many minor league players and let college do it. And college has shown that they can produce major league guys very quickly. Obviously, they're very talented. And everybody's like, well, they're not about development. They're about winning. It's like, you could still develop and win. It's not, it doesn't have to be like all about, I just think that's a cop-out answer. We're going to talk more about this in just a little bit. We do need to get to our sports thread. Interesting piece there by the owners about what they might be proposing. We'll take a little bit more of a dive into that in the noon hour. But right now, what else is going in the sports world? Let's get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on in the sports world today?
You want to take a guess what our first story is coming in from?
Meet the Mets.
No.
No,
No, it is not.
it's not about the Mets.
No, it's not.
Number 1.
Does it involve a Detroit Lions player?
No, it does not.
Oh.
The NCAA.
Aha! The gift that keeps on giving.
The NCAA's newly approved age-based college eligibility model, which is great, fantastic.
We should talk about this later in the
We
show,
know
too.
it. We love it.
We love it.
It's already getting sued. The eligibility model is already facing legal challenges as a group of 15 college basketball players has filed a lawsuit claiming the rule unfairly denies them a 5th season of competition. The new system allows athletes 5 seasons over a 5-year period, but does not apply retroactively to players whose eligibility expires in 2026, leaving some athletes caught in the transition. The players argue the decision limits their ability to earn NIL income, and creates an uneven playing field compared to athletes from other graduating classes. Is the NCAA right to draw a firm line on eligibility rules, or should athletes caught in this transition period receive an extra year?
I'm done giving people extra years. I'm getting cutthroat. I don't feel bad for anybody anymore in college. I really don't. So my thing would be tough S. That's life. You missed out.
I would feel bad. I would feel a little off about the kids in the transition year, but then after that, that's it. Done. If
The
you're
ones
not-
that have
if you're
played
not
4
caught-
years or whatever like that.
Yeah, if you're not caught in this transition year and you have a red shirt and this was supposed to be your last year of eligibility, but it runs out, yeah, you can play. But after that, we're not accepting anything else on this.
I think now at this point, I don't care about waivers anymore because it just opens up too much of a can of worms for other things. And they all had 4 years to be able to play college athletics. I get that they're using money as an excuse. I don't care. I've stopped caring. Too many people have abused it for me to care and feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for them anymore.
And
I just don't.
And the second you use NIL as the excuse, you get the same reaction that I had right there reading that. It's like, God, really?
Yeah,
Come
it's
on,
always
jerks. You're just taking advantage of it.
It's just too many abusers. It's like, this is what happens when you abuse a system. Eventually, the system has enough and goes like, all right, new rules, can't do this anymore.
Yep.
Tough S. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry your dream is over.
Then the system abuses you.
Yeah.
Number 2.
The saga between Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers took another turn this week as Ayuk publicly stated on social media that if he is released, he would sign with the Washington Commanders, quote, tomorrow. Ayuk has continued to express frustration with the Niners while hinting at a reunion with quarterback Jaden Daniels, his former college teammate. With training camp approaching, the Niners still searching for a solution. The standoff remains one of the NFL's most intriguing offseason storylines. If the Niners move on from Brandon Ayuk, would Washington be the perfect landing spot, or is there another team that makes more sense?
Yeah, I mean, Washington seems like the circus that would be perfect for Brandon Ayuk.
You've been such a pain in the ass. Why would they? Why would
anybody
offer?
want you?
Exactly. You've been such a pain in the ass.
I don't think anybody really would want. I mean, is he that good? He was okay. I mean, he did well when he was surrounded. It was the same thing like Brock Purdy. He was great when he had George Kittle playing tight end and Christian McCaffrey was there and Deebo Samuel was the best receiver on the field you had to worry about. I mean, I don't think Brandon Ayuk's good enough to warrant the pain in the assness that you have to deal with him.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Go to Washington. See how that works out for you. I don't
have fun.
Yeah.
Number 3.
San Francisco's dodging a bullet, not having to do with him anymore.
The United States men's national soccer team has already secured first place in its World Cup group, so manager Mauricio Pochettino plans to rest several key players tonight against Turkey. 4 Americans carrying yellow cards, including Tyler Adams, Anton Robinson, are expected to sit to avoid suspension for the knockout round. The move allows the United States to protect its roster ahead of a likely round of 32 matchup against Bosnia and Herzegovina, as the focus shifts from advancing to making a deep World Cup run. Did Pochettino make the right call by resting key players, or is there value in keeping the U.S. starters sharp before the knockout stage begins?
I'd rest those guys. What's the point of them playing? The risk outweighs the reward. The reward of them staying fresh is awesome unless one of them gets a yellow. Right? Or gets God forbid they get a red card. Like, why risk it? There's no reason to risk it. You're gonna make it to the next round. You already know where you're playing. You already know, I guess, who you're playing in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I don't know why you wouldn't sit these guys. I'd sit all the guys with yellow cards if I could.
Also gives Christian Pulisic another week to rest. And so this is the smart call for sure.
Number 4.
The Los Angeles Lakers have locked up one of the biggest success stories as Austin Reeves is set to sign a 4-year, $185 million max contract to remain in Los Angeles. The deal makes Reeves the highest paid undrafted player in NBA history and signals the Lakers' belief that he remains a key part of their future. After averaging more than 23 points per game last season, Reeves reportedly turned down free agency opportunities elsewhere to continue his career in purple and gold. Did the Lakers make the right move by investing max money in Austin Reeves, or is this contract a gamble for a player who has never been an all-star?
I think it's a little bit of a gamble. That's a better question for Tony. Tony religiously watches the Lake Show. I think it's a little bit of a gamble, to be honest. These max contracts, again, you have to hit
$185 million.
I know.
That's a lot.
Is he carrying that team? They got a lot of good players on that team. Is he like
someone has to?
It seems like a stretch.
Number 5.
The Milwaukee Brewers will be without reliever Avner Uribe for one game after he elected to serve the suspension stemming from a controversial celebration against the Cardinals last month.
No, the hip thrust?
Yes. Uribe was disciplined for directing WWE-style crotch chops towards the Cardinals dugout following a strikeout.
Did you add that part in there? Or was that in
that's
in the
there.
article?
Should MLB crack down on celebrations that are directed at opponents or are displays like Uribe as part of the emotion of the game?
Do not do anything towards the opponent. First of all, you look like a clown. Second of all, you're making a bad influence to kids that start doing it at the travel ball levels. I'm all in favor of that.
As if those kids aren't bad and poorly influenced already.
World Cup date when we come back.
San Diego, let's get to it. No fluff, no filters, just San Diego sports the way it's supposed to be.
When one asset of your game is not performing at a high level, you need the other portions of your game to step up and overcome those things.
The takes hit different here.
You know, everybody's all worried about the Padres not hitting home runs. The Padres don't need to hit home runs to win games. The home runs are going to come. It's finding different ways to win.
This is the Braden Surprenant Show.
New lunchtime hour on the Fan. Big thanks to Epic Wings stopping by today. A great time on the round table. Had some. You know what I love about when Epic Wings stops by? They like mix some flavors that we don't. Sometimes they're flavors people don't get to have. They still have them over there.
Tommy want wingy.
They're in the kitchen, Tommy. There's a lot of them left, but they like create different things. So I had the garlic parm hot. So it was the mix between the buffalo and the garlic parm. So good. I also devoured those right after the show because I was running a little late from practice today. I know I'm running late when it's like 10 minutes out and I get a phone call from Adam. I just want to make sure you're close. Yeah. And at that point, I was in streetlight hell coming up the hill.
Yep.
Which turned into parking hell coming up the hill or like in the parking lot here. Too many people work here now. I don't know what's going on. I liked it better when you guys all worked remotely. Go home. Stay home. More people at the Odyssey office? Great. More people in this complex? Do you need to be here? Do you need to be here? Go home. Work from home. If you have the ability to work from home, work from home. It's great. Work at the beach. I almost forgot last week at practice. This week I did not. I was at practice last week and I was like, normal times, right? I know the exit time I have to leave practice by to go home, change, and be ready for work. And I'm so used to it always starting at 10. I've never had to start anything at 9. And I was like, shoot, we start at 9. You know what? At least I didn't come in my coaching attire this time.
Yeah.
That was the main goal this week, was to not do that. So anyway.
Proud of you.
I enjoyed my lunch at 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning. So I devoured those wings. Also, I'd been up since 5, of course, because of practice. But that was like my lunchtime anyway. That'll be us next Thursday. Is there a roundtable next Thursday? Have we determined that yet?
Adam, is there a roundtable next Thursday?
I don't know if there is or not. Just add more BS hours, B-Serp show hours. We're here to do it. We're here to talk sports. But anyway, I devoured those wings. Great stuff. We had a guest appearance from Mitchell from Smile Spirits. Those are always fun. Canned cocktails. Great stuff. Haven't had any of those because obviously I'm working. I will be having some later on tonight, though. Gracious enough to give us some canned cocktails. They got a spicy vodka mule. Good stuff. I like a little spice in the drink. Oh, you don't drink, but
how'd they fit the mule in the box?
Very carefully. Very carefully. Spicy vodka mule. You don't drink. Do you ever do you like spice? No?
No. I'm
not a big spice guy. I like a spicy marg every once in a while. A little spicy mule, not bad. That's one of our guys, Rick's favorites. But they dropped off some lemonade tea vodka, spicy vodka mule, cranberry vodka soda, pineapple orange vodka soda. I know they're a big Padres radio sponsor. So nice. Shout out to Smile Spirits. Can't wait to try some of these new ones. The other ones I had were pretty good. But anyway, I digress. We were going to give us the World Cup date here, but we're actually going to do that next because Evan Drellich has then replied to his tweet from 27 minutes ago about what is being proposed by the owners. So going to break, do you remember what the owners proposed? If you want to give us a recap, Frank. I have it pulled up just in case you don't, but do you remember what we talked about?
Minimum salary of $1 million for players entering their second year.
Mm-hmm. Eliminate qualifying offers.
Oh, yeah, eliminate qualifying offers. I think something about $900,000 in there for rookies.
That's for like 0 to 1 years of service, $900,000 with,
so $900,000
with potential to make $1 million.
Okay.
And then no qualifying offers, no deferred salary for future contracts.
Right. Yes.
No change to arbitration process. That's where it started to go, okay, that's not a player-friendly one. I think that needs to change. We talked about that going to break. I mean, just in comparison, do you know what the NFL rules are for how many years you get when you get drafted? Like what the minimum or what the fixed contracts are?
It changes by round, does it not?
That is correct. So
I think isn't the first round like 4 years or 3 years?
First round picks are 4 years with a fully guaranteed 5th-year club option determined by performance.
Mm-hmm.
Second through 7th round picks are 4-year contracts, and all undrafted free agents are on 3-year contracts.
Okay.
So Evan Drellich added more to this, but before we go to that, I do want to say, like, what if you did something in baseball that was kind of like that for arbitration, where if you are a higher draft pick, now you'd have to redo the drafting because there's a lot more rounds. But if you're a high draft pick, what if you got a 4 years of arbitration, or then you got a club option for the 5th year based on performance. And if you're a 2nd through 7th round pick or like middle round draft picks, you get, 3 years of arbitration. Then if you sign instead, you would get to what if there's some way to do it where you implement the draft, or you try to make it where these guys can get to free agency a lot faster than they currently do.
Yeah, I think, we would be amendable to that. I think as far as you obviously can't start the contract right out of the draft like you do in the NFL.
No, what
the
I'm
NFL
saying
doesn't
is
have a minor league system.
That kicks in as soon as you go to the big leagues.
Yeah, once they go to the majors, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Because you have to be able to have the teams protect the assets that they've invested in at a high level,
mm-hmm.
right? With the budget, like those
Agreed.
are the players you want to keep. So that needs to change for the players get involved. I'm sure they like the elimination of qualifying offers. None of them really like the qualifying offer because nobody likes a franchise tag either. I think the eliminating of deferred salary for future contracts players would be on board for, because you are making less in deferred contracts than you would be if you got it up front and guaranteed or got it on the scale that it is normally. And honestly, I think $1 million minimum salary is probably something ideal for a lot of players. This is where it gets interesting, though, it starts off strong, right? $1 million for minimum, $1 million a year for league minimum for at least 2 years service, $900,000. I'm just gonna be generic. $1 million for league minimum, positive step for the players, I would think. Yes. Eliminating qualifying offers, positive step. Eliminating deferred salary for future contracts, I think that's a pro player thing. No change in our process. I think they're giving you a thumbs down on that. That definitely needs to change if you're going to accept the salary cap. But again, this is all the things that would happen if the players accepted a salary cap according to the owners group that have their proposal. They are also proposing a limit on the length and pay of individual contracts. I think that's great for fans, and it's obviously great for the pocketbooks of owners.
What do you...
For contracts starting in 2027, the longest contract a free agent could sign with a new team is 5 years. So they essentially are adopting something like the NBA with max and supermax contracts. So the longest contract a free agent could sign with a new team would be 5 years with a max total projected value of $202 million. So if you maxed out on that,
and again, that's for players signing new contracts after this CBA. So everyone who has a contract right now would get grandfathered into that.
Correct. So anybody this offseason after the lockout,
yes,
if there is one, if this gets agreed, would it be so nobody could sign for more than 5 years, $202 million, which is about $40.5 million a year. I see that and go, that's kind of like, why they're not going to like that cap on top of the salary cap. But as I sit there and look, is there anybody in baseball that really needs $40.5 million a year aside from like Ohtani?
No, I mean, that's what.
Who's making like 70?
No, he's only making 2.
Stop it. I'm not doing this bit. But anyway, like you were saying.
I think, I mean, that takes a little bit of money out of, like, that could also lock some teams into pretty bad contracts right now, too.
It still does.
Because, no, I mean, as far as
it still makes you have to make good decisions. I'm thinking about it from the top 1% of the players are not going to like that because there's guys that make way more than that don't want to, sign a 5-year, $202 million contract. But for every one of those players, there's a player like Jackson Merrill that's like, that's plenty for me to play.
And what I meant was more like, you're talking about now, you're hearing Bo Bichette wanting to
opt out.
That's 2 years, $42 million each. That's 2 years at $84 million, $42 million per. He wants to opt out. The Mets would very much welcome him opting out. But now if that's something that's put in, that's something that he could opt into now. To where he doesn't have to, so where he's grandfathered into that cap if they think, to where he's grandfathered in under the old CBA if they think that that's something that's going to be put into the new one.
So that's just number one of these 2 other ones that are on there because there's some caveats to if you are signing an extension. So my thing with this is, I think this is great for the owners. It's great for the owners, obviously, because they have limited funds. There's no whatever. They're saving money on this. Let's not pretend that they're not. But I think it's great for the fans in the standpoint of, for everybody that complains that like guys are set and don't want to try anymore, this kind of eliminates that if you only have a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
And even if they max it out, like if you sign that deal, you become a free agent early in life and you sign that deal at like age 26.
You could sign another one of those.
And it gets you to age 31, like you're still around, like you could still get another one of those, but you're going to have to do very well your age 26 through 31 seasons if you want something even close to that. It doesn't let anybody sit there and coast. The only one that would be able to is a player that would sign it at age 33 or later. But at that point, I don't think anybody would be signing 33-year-olds to that.
No.
And I think if you fix the arbitration a little bit, it sets up better for players so they can continue to get big contracts over and over and over again of $40.5+ million. But here's the other thing too. So that's if you're just signing a free agent. The longest contract a free agent could sign with his current team is 6 years with a max total projected value of $265 million.
So that's to stay on an extension.
Correct. So, which would actually
6
pay
years,
out
$265.
Correct. You would get $44.2 million. You actually would get more money. So it honestly gives you an incentive to stay with the team that you're on instead of going elsewhere for more money. So I like that too. They're putting in these rules to try to have talent spread throughout Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are trying to save money in the process, but at the same time, I think this still benefits fans.
Yeah, 100%. This is a way to incentivize Bobby Witt Jr. staying in Kansas City. This is a way to incentivize Corbin Carroll staying in Arizona.
But on top of that, it's okay. I played well in Kansas City, and I'm a free agent like Bobby Witt Jr., right?
Yeah, he can.
And in the past, what he would do, he would hit to the free market, and it would get into a bidding war with top market teams, and he's leaving Kansas City because only the Dodgers can pay him. Well, now you would leave Kansas City because you don't want to be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to be on a winning team. It's not, you can't use the excuse, oh, they paid me more money, right? Everybody would know that you just don't want to be there anymore because the team that had the contract, you will make more money signing an extension with them than you would signing an extension with anybody else.
Greatest fans of baseball.
Now, here's the last one to it. The longest any player can be signed at any point under a single contract / extension is for 12 years. Max of $500 million value. So.
Wait, run that one by me again. I was editing.
Did you listen to anything else I said?
I was editing that last one. The 12. When you said 12-year max, I was like, wait, what?
The longest any player can be signed at any point under a single contract / extension is for 12 seasons.
Okay.
Max of $500 million. So you can sign a 12-year extension if you're in your first year in the majors. But if you're in your, say, third year in the majors, you could sign for a max length of 9 years.
I think we're getting a little too far into the weeds there, because then if you do that, then you're guaranteeing that you have no lifers. Like the Tony Gwynns are out. Like you're not going to have a guy who spends an entire 20-year career with a team. I know those are very rare and those are very few and far between, but I would leave that out. Because you still those are special guys, those are special players, and you still want to have the ability, as rare as it is, you still want to have the ability to have those guys around.
12 years is a long time. I mean, that would be like it's the other thing I don't understand, it's like, so that's only with like the team that drafted you, right?
If you're
you know what it is? Oh, here's what it is. It's like you can, if you're a free agent and you sign a 5-year deal, you can add extensions to that.
Yeah.
So like they could give him an extension in the middle of that 5-year deal for another 5 years. And then it's like you're on an 8-year deal. But it's a way to eliminate a loophole of I'll just keep signing these extensions.
Okay.
So you can only do, it's a max of 12 years. But it still goes to the point that you're talking about of, so you could only play for a team for a max of 12 years.
Yeah,
and after that, you have to leave.
I don't like that.
Like, I don't
like
get
that at all
either.
Like that's one like Byron Buxton signed a contract extension. He said he wants to stay in Minnesota.
Right.
Now you're going to force him to leave because he hit a 12-year cap. If that's how we're understanding it is right, he reached a 12-year term limit and now he has to leave Minnesota even though he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't get that last part because it does, like, that last part doesn't make a lot of sense. Like that at that point, why would you limit like a guy playing on one team? If he liked playing there and he's drafted by the team and he got that to me doesn't make any sense. I think that's going to move again. I think this is just the beginning part of this. The last part of it that we talked about, I don't necessarily know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why you would. I get the whole. You want to eliminate guys just signing 1-year extension, 1-year extension, 1-year extension. But like, there's got to be a way around it for a guy that just wants to go back to his team that he's on.
Yeah, like you can't, and I think that's something that the Players Association would and rightfully should knock is like, okay, now you literally are putting into rules limiting where a player can go or how long a player can stay somewhere. Like there's no reason for anyone to sign like a Juan Soto kind of deal where you're at somewhere for 15 years. There's no reason for that. And I understand where you're coming from as far as the limiting the 1-year extension, trying to just get 1-year extension. I get that, but there's got to be you cannot put into rule and limit that a guy cannot play for a certain team after they've played for X amount of years.
I think Los on there I think he's right on. I think it's probably like that counts as that contract, and then it ends, and then you sign a new one. So you'd have to sign a new 5-year, 200. I think you would have to sign a new system of contract. I think you could give extensions, right? And then like you could have a max of 12, but then maybe your contract expires. You have to become a free agent. Maybe that's a way of you could keep extending a guy for 12 years, and after that, he officially has to be a free agent to talk with other entities. Because it's not like if you're under contract, you can't talk to other teams, right? Otherwise, it would be tampering. So,
which definitely never happens.
Which never happens. So, my guess of that interpretation that Evan Drellich wrote out was you can keep extending a guy up until 12 years of control, but after that he has to hit the open market. You could still sign him again, but he has to be a free agent. That's how I kind of interpret that a little bit.
I could see that being an interpretation of it.
Right. I mean, I guess you don't have to like have these guys do these extensions, but that to me makes a lot of sense. So I guess it's
an extension is something that has to be agreed upon between both parties. So it's not like arbitration in that case where one team has the control over the guy and is keeping him. So the player can go to free agency if he does not want the extension. I like that. I like that a little bit more than what it initially sounded like, but I'm still that has to be made a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I do think it's I do think it's a way to have them hit the free market at some point. There's one other thing. Major League Baseball just put out a statement about this and what they have done. We have to take a break. When we come back, we will tell you what Major League Baseball said. Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Well, it happened, Frank. The big event that we've been leading up to this point, a big reason why we were doing these updates to inform people about NASCAR coming to San Diego. It has come to San Diego, and what a fun, eventful weekend here in America's finest city, starting with the Truck Series, onto the O'Reilly Series, and then the Cup Series, NASCAR Cup Chase, if you will. All three events I thought were awesome to watch, awesome to be a part of, and based on the people we've talked to at NASCAR, a big success for NASCAR coming back to Southern California.
Yeah, and this may say the NASCAR update, but it's also a NASCAR motorsports update. So let's get it out of the way. Christian Lundgaard won at Indy. It won in Indy at Road America. Anyway, moving on now. Bless you. It was absolutely incredible this weekend. NASCAR was very, very happy with how everything went. San Diego appeared to be very, very happy with how everything went as well. And from what reports are, it's reportedly a multi-year deal here. And depending upon world affairs and whether or not the Navy is down for it.
How active does that runway need to be?
Yeah, exactly. How it looks as though they could be coming back. And the rumor is they're aiming for 4th of July or as close as they possibly can.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, the 4th of July weekend. I mean, this year, the 4th of July is on a Saturday, so I would imagine the race day would be on the 4th of July, potentially. But I think overall, it was a fun time. I think San Diego really enjoyed the race this weekend. I had a blast being able to go to my first race here in San Diego. And I think a couple of things checked boxes of why this is a success in San Diego. And I think the first one was, this is a race that counts in the standings. This is the highest level of NASCAR stock cars. Sorry, I was blanking on the stock cars. This is the highest level of stock car racing you can get with the trucks, and being part of NASCAR and not having like the Wayland series or some of like the lower level ones come here. I think the military aspect was great. The weather was awesome over the weekend, but there was a lot of reasons why this turned out to be a success and why it's not surprising that the people of NASCAR really liked being here.
No, and all of the races were fantastic too. That's a major thing. I mean, you could have had this big, awesome 3 mile track, all the pomp and circumstance that comes along with it, and then just had three clunker races that are like,
Right.
oh God, this was one and done, baby. We're out. But no, I think you compare it to the Chicago circuit. I think this was a lot better than the Chicago circuit. Now, the Chicago circuit was run in the middle of downtown Chicago, a bunch of 90-degree corners, where here you're able to mix it up a little bit. You still had your 90-degree corners, but you had your fast sweepers. You had a bunch of different ways and basically when you got to the runway, just a blank slate on what you could imagine potentially doing. You had a great truck race that was just pure carnage as those guys were just trying to figure their way around the racetrack. The O'Reilly Series race was fantastic. Three guys right down at the end, putting it all on the line to try to win. And then you had two teammates battling it out on Sunday trying to win. And all the craziness and the unpredictability that you had from these weekends also. I mean, the walls moving on incidents, though, that's kind of just something you have to live with when it comes to a non-permanent racetrack like Coronado. You had a fan jump on the racetrack. You had a manhole cover go through one of the cars. A couple of very big wrecks, both in the same spot. Sam Mayer took an incredibly hard hit on Saturday. I mean, there is so much to dissect from this weekend that a 5 or even 10-minute video here couldn't even scratch the surface of.
And we talked about it, or we did on the show about, I got to meet William Byron's parents and got to hear a lot of stories from William Byron's parents about William Byron becoming a NASCAR driver and his connection with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon and some other fun stories too that were on there. It was really cool. You got to see Chase Elliott walking through Coronado, being here in town. NASCAR's and racing's biggest stars being here in San Diego was great. And it drove a lot of celebrities down here too. I think this is a event that was great for NASCAR. We got the report back, 125,000 people over the weekend, throughout the entire weekend showing up to the race. Percentage of female attendees through the roof, the percentage of Hispanic viewers through the roof, the percentage of first-time NASCAR fans through the roof. These are all areas that you want to hit on if you're NASCAR, and this is why you do street races, right? It's why you do the road courses. It opens you up to a bigger audience, and I think NASCAR hit this one out of the park. And again, we talked about the things that need to be improved for next time. They're all 12:27 on a Thursday. Major League Baseball making some moves with the Players Association. All right, so just to recap, we have seen some new proposals from the MLB owners. We have also seen some agreements. Now, this is not, they don't have a collective bargaining agreement, but
they've agreed on multiple terms that will be in the upcoming CBA.
Correct. As they have done in years past. They have always found some ground on some little things and have slowly started to make their way. So this is what Major League Baseball put out today. We met with the Players Association today to outline the reserve system elements of our cap and floor proposal. We have accepted the Major League Baseball Players Association free agency proposal, which will allow players who are 30 years old to qualify for free agency with 5 years of service. Bob Nightingale tweeted out that under that proposal, 354 players are about to become free agents next year,
including the great Gavino,
including Gavin Sheets. Now, here's the thing with Gavin Sheets. Like, Gavin Sheets only had one more year of control anyway in 2027. He was a free agent in 2028. He is 30 years old, and he has 4 years of service time. So if he gets up to that 5 number, he will be eligible to be a free agent next year. But even though 354 players are on that list, there's not a lot of those out there. I'm looking at, like, Adrian Morejon has 5 years of service time. He's only 27. He's a free agent next year anyway. Jason Adam is 35. He has 5 years of service time. If that was in play last year, Jason Adam would have been a free agent. Jason Adam's a free agent next year anyway. Luis Camposano is 27 years old. He has got 3 years of service time. At the end of this year, he might lose one more year of control. It's kind of close. He's 27 right now. He's under control until 2029. He'll be 28, 29. I mean, he's got to be a free agent when he's expected to be a free agent. Mason Miller is interesting to me with this new rule. Mason Miller is 27.8 years old, whatever that means. So he'll be 28, 29. His last year in 2029, he will be the last year of control. He'll be 30. He's got 2.166 in service time. So if that, we're already halfway through the year. I don't know if you had half to that. I don't know what the service time is on Fangraphs. It's hard, but 3, 4, 5. I mean, I think it's like it's a close shot that you lose 1 year of control of Mason Miller with that new rule. But other than that, he's probably going to be a free agent at the time he's expected to be a free agent. Yeah. Freddie Fermin, he might be a guy that becomes a free agent slightly earlier, but he only has 2.16 years of service time.
And by this,
he's already 31, but by the time he gets to 5 years of service time, he's probably already going to be a free agent anyway.
And you're also expecting to be leaning most of the load on Ethan Salas at that point as well. And Freddie Fermin will become a backup again. So you'd be losing another backup catcher.
Jeremiah Estrada is close to losing 1 year of control because he's 27. And he's under control until 2030, and he's got 2 years of service time. Brian Hoeing's another. Randy Vasquez, but he doesn't have a lot of service time. And by the time Bradley Rodriguez racks up the service time or gets close to age, it won't be to that point. So it doesn't really affect too many Padres. This is something that benefits college players that make it to the big leagues at like 25, 26. They will be able to probably enter free agency earlier than they usually would. That's how I kind of look at it. And honestly, I think it's kind of fair, Frank. I really do. For the player.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I don't. This is just a full-on, once again.
Squirrel!
Who is the biggest player in the WNBA right now?
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is now out. And guts and because she had gotten hit in the back, you guys have seen it. She just gets run over every single night. One of the players yesterday for Phoenix, or a couple days ago for Phoenix,
I saw that play. That's crazy.
Put her fist down on Caitlin Clark's throat to get up after a scrum. She got suspended for 1 game. 1 game. Can you protect your star player, please? WNBA. She gets beaten up every single time she's on the floor. Can you 1 game? Come on. That's a joke. She used her fist. She used Caitlin Clark's throat with her fist as leverage to stand up. And you give her 1 game. Come on. Anyway.
Squirrel!
That league does not protect Caitlin Clark at all.
God.
I don't really pay attention too much to that league. They have also accepted the Players Association's proposal to eliminate the qualifying offer system. I think that's good. And then they talked about the proposals that we talked about in the last segment. So, I mean, the Players Association already has put out there, this is all BS, this all sucks. It means nothing. It means nothing. Give us more money. Give us more money. Give us more money. So take that for what it's worth. But they've already agreed upon a couple of things. I think that's great. And I like the ideas of some of these already for the contracts. Again, I think it's better for the fans. Owners are making money about this. Same thing with like the draft proposal. They're putting the draft proposal in for, to save money. I don't care. Sure. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that it's going to affect like minor league cities, but maybe this is a discussion for the other side of this, Frank, but I mean, at what point are you trying to like help the development of play? I mean, how many players are you trying to get to the big leagues? I mean, really? It's just like I get it's like their dream. I understand it's a hard business. I get all that. How many minor league teams does every team need to really like develop players? I mean, how many of those guys are just being used to develop like one or two guys? If they lopped off two of the teams, which again, I don't want to see like the Storm go, the California League. I mean, I get that. But if they were to do that, I mean, how many future MLB guys are not going to get the chance?
And there's nothing saying that it would be the Lake Elsinore Storm leaving.
No, but like
honestly, I think the Lake Elsinore Storm have one of the best chances of staying because they're so close.
Well, the California League definitely would definitely. There's a lot. There were a lot of talks last CBA when they were talking about cutting minor leagues that the Mets would just get rid of Binghamton and Port St. Lucie and use the Brooklyn Cyclones as their AA team. Well, yeah, you
instead
would just
of being high A.
All of a sudden, the California League might
be
move up to
double A
because it's probably better for the West Coast
or
teams to have the
triple A
league.
for that matter.
But that's details. I mean, it's true. Like it probably just needs single A, double A, triple A. To be honest with you, just double A and triple A probably be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to lop off one of the single A leagues and lop off 30 teams, it probably would make it even better anyway. I mean, there's a lot of other leagues out there that they could play in. Now, you go play in Japan, you can play in Mexico, you can play in South Korea, you can play all over the place and still make it to the big leagues. We've seen that time and time again. And I think they're going to lean on college. And everybody's like, it's not about development. The owners want to save money. I get it. But it's hard. It's hard to just complain about a league saving money all the time when they actually come up with some things that make the game better in the process too. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Alex and Delmar will get to you when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show rolls on. Standing us over at Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.
Victory lane, climbing out of the truck. Make some noise one more time for your race winner of the Navy 250, Lane Ray.
12:42 on a Thursday. Padres just swept the Atlanta Braves. That's fun. That's good. They get ready for the Dodgers this weekend. 833-288-1973. 833-288-1973. Haven't done so already. We would appreciate it if you guys check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/B_/@B_SURP. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. We got a lot of new content each and every day. We put out videos all the time. If you're watching on our YouTube page, you get to see a lot of those videos during commercial breaks. We have also launched our t-shirts on Shopify. If you haven't done that already, you can check us out by Google searching Braden Surprenant Show merch. We got a lot of cool gear up there. We got some new ones on the way. We did get an order yesterday. Shout out to Steve. Got a shirt. Appreciate you. Shirt is going to be on its way very shortly. We got the brown and gold ones. We got some blue and gold ones. And again, as I'm about to do right now on YouTube, they pop up on there all the time. So get yourself a frog shirt, if you will. Our guy Sam in the YouTube chat, he went out and got one. We have a couple cool designs. We also have the white t-shirt. It's pretty cool. Also still very comfortable. And it's got our graphic art on the back. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can check it out right now. It's going to start populating on the bottom of your screen. Click on that. If you click on it, it will bring you to the link. You can order a shirt. We really appreciate you guys. It helps us out a lot. Plus spreads the word, and you get to rock some cool and very comfortable gear. Nate already talked about, or he put in the YouTube chat. He's got a couple of shirts, nice and comfy. We've been seeing them around town. Want to continue that. We are, we're also working on ordering some stickers, so we can start putting some stickers out there around town as well. We'll start including those in the t-shirt shipments also once I get those in. Are you all right? You okay over there?
Yeah, I just saw again.
Can you stay focused?
I was looking for I was looking for stuff of this. They're fixing the field
in Carolina,
and they have Thunderbug, the mascot for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Is Sir Purr there?
With
you call him that?
Well,
that's his name, Sir Purr.
Oh, that's for Carolina.
So you have never seen that video?
No.
You call him that? It was like an NFL Films. They're like, hey, look, it's Sir Purr. He's like, what's that bear doing?
Thunderbug is running around with a laser pointer, and Sir Purr is chasing it.
Sir Purr is there.
He is chasing the laser pointer.
That's hilarious. Like a cat. Who's got that?
Thunderbug.
Thunderbug, the official account.
I'm going to put it on the. I'll put it on the stream. I'm not that. I'm not that cruel to you guys.
Oh, that's awesome, Sir Purr. You call him that? What's that bear doing? Who? Sir Purr? You call him that? That's his name.
Here it is.
It's one of the best NFL Films videos ever. Thunderbug. Here it is.
My man.
I didn't know you followed Thunderbug.
I didn't know that was. It just showed up on my thing.
Tampa Bay Lightning's mascot, Thunderbug.
He's got him chasing the laser pointer.
Oh, this is Thunderbug. This is part of. You know why he's doing this?
Huh.
This is part. I just looked it up. This is part of Thunderbug's summer road trip. So he started with Orlando. He was hanging out with Nitro, the UCF Knight. Then he cruised over to Jacksonville and is hanging out with Jackson DeVille. He went over to Charlotte, to North Carolina. He's looking at the Charlotte Knights home with Homer the Dragon. And then he saw his buddy Sir Purr while in Uptown.
He doesn't have to have him go running with a laser pointer, though. This is amazing.
It's great.
It's unbelievable.
I love it.
Stuff.
Sir Purr. I love Sir Purr. It's great.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
Anyway, final. That was the final one. This is the last one.
Squirrel.
Last one for today. Last squirrel.
That's it. I was waiting for another one to come.
No,
You're done?
No, that was the last squirrel.
Okay. We got some more information on this proposal, if you will, from the Players Association. And They're starting to get more and more. There's starting to be like more and more clarity here on this. Like Bob Nightingale just posted another graphic about this, and they obviously sent out a proposal to all the media members in baseball. But I'm trying to like. There's no context on Bob Nightingale. It's like MLB free agent cap system. 4 Major League service time, 8 years, 343, 5 MLS, 7 years, 304, free agent, 6 years, 265. I guess that's okay, that makes more sense. So if you're on the team, if you're on the team that drafted you with the service, like, with arbitration, whatever, and you have accumulated 4 years of Major League service time, the max contract you can get on an extension is 8 years, $343 million.
That's only with the team that drafted you. So like Fernando wouldn't be eligible for that contract here because while he never suited up for Chicago, he was drafted by them.
Oh no, I think it's whoever you made your Major League debut with, I think. It doesn't say team you're drafted by. I think it's literally whoever makes your debut with.
Okay. All right.
Whatever starts your service time, maybe, I guess. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe if you're under, I think it's any arbitrational player. It could be arbitration players. If you're in arbitration years, remember they weren't changing anything with arbitration, right?
Right.
So if you are arbitration eligible, those are the team. That's the team you can sign with to the extension. And then it just depends on how many years of service you have on what your years and money value is. So if you have accumulated 4 years of Major League service time, you get a max of an 8-year, $343 million contract. 5 years of service is 7 years, 304. And then if you're a free agent, because remember, after 5 years of service time, you should be a free agent at that point. Once you turn 30, you, as a free agent, you can sign for 6 years, 265 max, which is that number that we had before.
Okay.
Which makes sense. There's more of a description on this, on the re-signing of a cornerstone player. I'd read it for you, but Bob cropped it out half of it, so you can only see like the middle part. You don't see the ends. We can't have old guys.
He draws the foul.
Bruh.
Put out pictures of things. It's just, it never works out.
Where's Jeff Passan tweeting out all this?
He never tweets like that, you know? It's like waiting for his column.
I thought he bombs daily, though.
Atomically, not daily. He doesn't bomb daily.
Whatever.
He does it during the trade deadline. You know it's true, though, because he doesn't tweet a lot. So Bob Nightingale, like, here's the deal. If you...
Does John Heyman have anything on it?
Free agent will be restricted to a contract that covers... I can't read it because it's cut off. Okay, so it says service time, 0 Major League, 0 years of service. If you're like under a year, the max you can sign is 12 years, $500 million. If you have 1 year of service time, you can sign a 11 years, $461 million deal. 2 years, 10 years, 421. 3 years, 9 years, 382. So depending on how much service time you have accumulated, that's how much of a max contract you can sign in an extension. And then if you become a free agent, the max you can sign for is the 6,265 with the team that you are currently on. If you hit the open market, it's the 5,205. Does that make more sense? I think we're starting to figure it out here. The problem is all the baseball writers right now are just tweeting out all the same thing at the same time as fast as possible. And so they're not really explaining. You're trying to figure it out as they go, and it's all over the place.
So basically, it's kind of, if you want to sign an extension early, like if you want to do what the Padres did with Jackson Merrill, let's just say, then he would be capped to signing an 8-year, $343 million contract.
When did Jackson sign his contract?
He signed it way early.
I know. Was it last year?
I think it was.
It was last year.
Yeah, it was the start of last year.
It was last year. He currently has 2 years of service time. So let's just say it was 1 year. Let's just say it's 1 year of service time, which I'm sure it was. Yeah, because he started. He started at the big league level, so he has had 1 year of service time.
Yeah, he had one. Yeah, he had 1 year of service time when he signed the deal.
That means he, on a max, would have been able to sign an 11-year, $461 million contract.
So it goes up exponentially by the $45 million a year right?
Like,
So like if you go from what is it, 40, you said it was like 43, $44 million a year?
so the original one is like, what was it, 205? Yeah. So the max you could sign as a free agent is 41 a year. And then it as an extension,
6 year,
as a-
265.
yeah. So that would be 265 divided by 6. That'd be 44.
So you have to add, so if you sign early enough, you have to add $44 million to the max for each year. Am
What?
I right? So
Well, no, because like 461 million over 11 years gets you $42 million a year. It's all relatively the same.
okay. So it's
Like
it's math live on the radio, Nate, because no one else has done the math to be able to tell us.
So
We're trying to decipher a code here.
last year, if Jackson Merrill signed a max contract, the max he could sign based on these rules, if they were to go into play, which I don't think they will yet, he would have been able to sign an 11-year, what was it? 11-year, $461 million deal. He signed a 9-year, 135. So it's not like those guys are getting ripped off.
No, we didn't get our decoder ring yet for this.
Right. I mean, like what did Jackson Churio sign for a small number, right? A lot of years, not a lot of pay. Like errors. I think of like Corbin Carroll.
Let me see.
Corbin Carroll signed a he's got 3 years of service time. He signed what, 2 years ago? He signed before Jackson, right? He signed an 8-year, $111 million deal. I mean, that's
Churio
like 13 a year.
Churio is 8 years, 82.
Oh man.
And he's at 2 years of service time right now.
I mean, it still gives you a lot of money. It's not like a total, Anyway, we're going to talk more about the Padres when we come back. Bob Scanlan, their broadcaster, will join us for his weekly hit as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Urban Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. 1 o'clock, broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how we're going to get to our World Cup date in just a little bit. Obviously, with the news of the latest labor negotiation proposal, we got a lot to talk about here still in the hour. But as we pivot away from that for a second, let's dive back into Padres baseball. They just swept the Atlanta Braves in 3 games, which is fantastic. Offense starting to turn things around a little bit. And for a weekly update on the Padres, we head to our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. San Diego Padres broadcaster Bob Scanlan joins us on the SDCCU fan hotline. Scan, what's going on? Hopefully you're enjoying your off day. Scan, there it is.
Sorry about that. Hey, man, I'm doing fantastic. How about you? All good?
All good. We're in. This is the fun time of year for my life, Bob. We got Padres baseball in full force. I got high school football coaching every morning. I got passing league I got to get to later on this afternoon. I mean, today I'm going to be driving all over the county. After the show, I got to get up to El Camino, which is that's a heck of a drive for a passing league game. So things couldn't be better. It's great to be in this weather, and it's even better talking about winning Padres baseball. A lot better than some of our conversations that we have had. Padres just swept Atlanta. I know you've been paying close attention to the games, watching them. Craig Stammen in the post game yesterday talked about we didn't face their number 1 and Chris Sale, and they've been banged up. They've been playing well. But Bob, just as well as anybody else out there, being part of Major League Baseball for as long as you have, it doesn't really matter what they got on the other side. A sweep over a Major League team is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no, sweeps are always good, no question about it. And to Craig's point, sometimes it's, when you play a certain team, right? The Braves have not been hitting on all cylinders, but that's nothing to apologize for. It's still a good baseball team. And we knew coming into this stretch of games where you've got Atlanta for 3, LA for 3, heading off to Chicago, and then off to Los Angeles, Arizona following that stretch, coming into this stretch of games, that's some pretty tough customers that you're playing right there. So to get this run off on this good of a start, I don't think you could ask for anything more. And the way that it was done also, where you had, the offense kicking in at some times, you had a gutsy 1-0 win along the way. You had an extra inning win to go in there also. So, hey, nothing to apologize for. You played a good team. You beat them. Your offense is showing up. You got some really excellent pitching outings from some of your starters. Your bullpen stepped up and did the job. Just a ton of positives coming out of that series. Nice to have the day off, right? To let the bullpen catch their breath a little bit before the Dodgers come into town. So, it's a fun time right now. Good start and a lot of positive things happening at just the right time.
Let's talk about the starting pitching. I mean, the good Michael King on Monday and JP Sears yesterday. I know it's going to be kind of maybe a longer answer on this one, but for the perfectionist that Michael King is, even in that game, he was like, 1-0 counts, 2-0 counts. I had to battle back, but he did a great job on Monday, and JP Sears did exactly what you expected him to do yesterday. That's a good step in the right direction for this staff that have been struggling collectively outside of Walker Buehler.
Yeah, I would agree. And we'll start with Michael, obviously, the first outing, and to see him do what he did going into the 7th inning. So many positives there. And I get what he's saying. Yeah, it wasn't surgical, so to speak, especially the first couple of innings where he had runners on base. He had to work out of it. But you could just tell as the game went on, his stuff got sharper and sharper, especially with the 2-seam fastball, which we know how important that is for him. He ended up using it 34% of the time, which is on the higher end for him. So we've seen that over the last 3 or 4 outings where he's used more and more of the sinkers, which is a great sign. And he was throwing them for strikes. First pitch strikes, 77%, 10 out of 13 on the first pitch strike using that sinker. That's huge because now it sets him up to use the sweeper. It sets him up to use the changeup. Almost 80% strikes on that sinker over the course of the game. Changeup was excellent as well. I thought there were a lot of positives there. It's never good enough for Michael, and we love that about him. But at the same time, good enough to get into the 7th inning, which was huge. And also, credit to Craig, because that's the point of the game where you got a close ball game, and we understand why he has gone to his bullpen more often than not when his starters start to get base runners on after the 5th inning in these close games. You've got that big, strong bullpen. You want to use them. But at the same time, Craig especially aware because he's been in that position of being in a bullpen over the course of a long season, understands that at some point he needs to start giving a little bit of a respite to those guys on the back end of the pen. You can't grind those guys all season long. And when it hits you like a ton of bricks. And he experienced it, a couple of times in the Padres bullpen where they were going along during the season, getting used a lot, being extremely effective. And then all of a sudden, the last month and a half of the season or so, things just fell apart because guys were just fatigued. So my point is, he was able to allow Michael to go deeper in that game, even though he gave up the base runner in the seventh inning. It's like, nope, you're throwing the ball well. Your pitch count isn't outrageous. Go for it, man. Like, get us through the seventh inning, and he did it. So a really big step for Michael and the team in a lot of ways in that first outing. And then JP Sears stepped in, did a fantastic job. I thought he used the fastball really well. Maybe a tick or two higher on the fastball velo. I mean, he's never going to blow you away, right? But he was still 91, 92 more consistently than I think we saw him last year. Did a nice job of using his cutter a little bit more this time. Changeup was outstanding. So a real positive outing for him as well. And totally needed, right, after going through the bullpen the day before. So a couple of big outings, both by King and JP Sears in that series.
Unfortunately, Bob, and we're talking with Bob Scanlan, one of the broadcasters for the San Diego Padres. I mean, Griffin Canning, another rough one for him. I mean, only gets two outs. They have an opener for him. I mean, he obviously is really, this is kind of the worst he has been in his career, and obviously in a very bad spot. I mean, you feel for the guy when he comes off the mound and just in the dugout looks, just so upset with how he performed and how, in his probably mind, let the team down. Padres rallied back, able to win that game anyway. But, you need as many arms as possible. And I get both sides of this of you're going to need Griffin Canning eventually. But at the same time, as fans would say, you don't really need a 7.38 ERA. Griffin's obviously trying to grind through this. He has shown that he has good stuff. The location's been off. But what's been the biggest takeaway for you when you watch Griffin Canning pitch on why things haven't really worked out for him this year?
Yeah, I think you already nailed it. It always comes down to command, right, and controlling counts. So he's a huge guy. He needs to get ahead in the count, work ahead. Anytime you fall behind, you're putting yourself in a tough situation. But even more so when you're not really commanding your pitches the way you need to, right? I mean, how do you get back even into the count? What are you able to use? Do you try to go to your cutter? Do you try to go to your slider? Do you want to overexpose the changeup in those situations? There's just a lot of things that start factoring in when you're not controlling the counts like that. And so, we've seen that with him a couple of times. And it's especially frustrating because, to your point, we've also seen him pitch well. And we've seen him, seem to be making progress after a couple of tough outings to start off with. And he went through a string of getting to the fifth, sixth inning, allowing 3 earned runs or less. And he felt like, okay, maybe this is going in the right direction, especially with the help of the opener. This is definitely a setback, no doubt about it. And look, it comes down to, you've got to get innings out of guys. And this is a guy that you hope that you'd be able to do that with. There have been signs of it. There have been flashes of it. There have been moments of it. But these types of outings are crushing. Obviously, they put a lot of stress on your bullpen, as we just talked about. Can't do that all season long. German Marquez hopefully is on his way of coming back. Matt Waldron also hopefully. We've talked about Pavetta and Joe Musgrove and their progression, which is still going to take a little while. So the bottom line is you've got to give these guys opportunities and try to get the most out of them that you can. It'll be interesting to see if he can rebound from that and try to get himself back on track. And again, just do a better job of working ahead. And when you do fall behind, finding some sort of a secondary to get you back into a competitive count.
Offense is improving. They're walking more. They're getting deeper into counts. They're putting pressure on pitchers, creating more innings with traffic. Manny Machado has looked way more like himself. It looks like his swing looks back to what Manny Machado's swing has looked like in the past. I know there was the article about what he did in the offseason that Kevin Acee wrote about and how he's been trying to fix it. But he's starting to get going. Offense starting to improve. We definitely know they're improving. But the question is now, is this offense now fixed, or do we have to see a little bit more? At least it's trending in the right direction, Bob.
Well, I don't know if it fixed. That's kind of a black and white term, right? Is it more fixed? Yeah, I guess so. To your point, look, Manny's a big factor in this, right? And we've seen Manny getting stronger and stronger. And you referenced the article that Kevin wrote in terms of what Manny was, working on mechanically in the off season, and maybe some of that stuff didn't help him. And now you're trying to make changes in season. I feel like we've seen a little bit of different approach from Manny over the last several weeks. I think it's really come in the culmination over the last couple weeks, and especially specifically with the fastball. I'm just going to go back to the last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks, he's hit .333 against the fastball. He's had 2 home runs. We've seen him come up with big hits to win baseball games. He was a big factor in the win that they had in Texas. We know he had the game-winning home run, game 1 against Atlanta. He had the game-winning hit in the walk-off against Atlanta. .333 on the fastball. And that's kind of what I look at, because granted, the home run came on a slider, but if you're not catching up to the fastball, your timing is going to be off for everything else. He hit .97 on the fastball prior to the last 2 weeks. So the timing was definitely not there. He was late. But what we've seen over the last 14 games is that timing starting to get there, especially on the heater. That's a great sign. And as we know, when Manny gets hot, and he's starting to get hot, it looks like he doesn't get hot for a week or two. He usually gets hot for like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even longer. So hopefully the mechanical things that he had been working on, trying to change, those changes are starting to take effect, and we're going to see the Manny that we've known and loved, from here on forward. So a lot of good signs out of him. Also, Fernando, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to add another player, but yes, Fernando looks a lot better too.
Yeah, no, Fernando's doing great also. Just looking since in the middle of last month, basically over his last 35 games, he's hitting .343 with a .393 on base percentage, and we've seen some of the power show up, right? We've had 11 doubles over that stretch and the 3 home runs, including the one the other night. So, yeah, a lot of positives there. Samad Taylor's done a fantastic job. Ty France is starting to swing the bat again after going through a kind of a prolonged slump. He's starting to show signs of coming out of that as well. The big game in Texas, and then coming up with some big RBIs the other night as well. So yeah, a lot of the pieces are coming together at the same time. Is it fixed? I think it's a work in progress, but it's definitely going in a much better direction, and you're starting to see more consistent contributions, especially from the guys that you expected from.
We're talking with Bob Scanlan, San Diego Padres broadcaster on the SDCCU fan hotline. You mentioned his name. I was going to bring it up, Samad Taylor. I mean, he has really changed the energy of this team. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, because remember, I mentioned some people in the YouTube comments, some fans going like, why do the Stars need spark from young players or guys that have bounced around, not top prospects? And I think you've seen it with Samad. I mean, the guy's been unbelievable since his June 3rd call-up. He has hit safely in 14 of 15 starts. He is batting .243 with 2 strikes, which is well above league average. 1 run or RBI in 12 of 15 starts. I mean, he has done way more than has been asked of him, and he's kind of been that spark, and he's been a fun player to watch on this team, and it looks like his playing has been a little contagious for this squad.
No doubt about it. And look, it's not that, how do you say it? I think we talked about it last time in terms of what does a young guy or, a new addition to a clubhouse mean in terms of spark? Like, why do veterans need a spark? Well, just as a player, it's just fun. Just as a human being, it's fun to watch somebody come up to the big leagues and have either a first-time experience, right? You're the new guy, you're showing up, or a guy that's been up and down, you kind of know his background, and he's getting another opportunity, and he's making the most of it. And so it's not that I need a spark coming to the ballpark as a player. I'm fired up. I'm coming here to play. But at the same time, it is fun to walk into the clubhouse, and you look over, and you see somebody, and you remember what it was like for yourself, right? I remember what it was like the first time I came up to big leagues. I remember when I got sent down and called back up, whatever the case may be, and you're looking over at that guy, and you're fired up for him. And it reminds you of, yeah, I'm a 10-year veteran, but at the same time, that's the spark, that's the fun, that's the excitement, that's the joy. I remember what that kid went through. I'm super happy for him, and it just brings up the energy in general. On top of which, what he's actually doing on the field in terms of his contributions, right? We've seen him bunt, we've seen him get big base hits when he needed to. He's stealing bags. The guy's just been a havoc maker, and that is exactly what he said he was going to do when he called up. Now, it's one thing to say it, right? And it's another thing to actually execute it, and he has fulfilled every one of his promises to this team of, I'm going to be a spark plug and I'm going to cause havoc on the base paths. And he's done both, along with and this is not that easy, Braden. He has brought an energy into the dugout just because that's his personality. He's just an outgoing, smiling, high energetic type of guy. And sometimes when you're new to a ball club, you're a little hesitant to sort of bring that personality in because you don't know how it's going to be accepted, especially with a more veteran dugout and clubhouse. But he said, you know what? I don't care. That's who I am. And I'm just bringing me. And it's authentic. And I think guys appreciate that. And they've gravitated to it. And it's been a great spark, both in terms of his energy and also clearly his contributions on the field, because you got to have both, right? You can be all smiling and happy and energetic if you want. If you're not bringing the goods, people are going to not really care. But he's bringing the goods and he's bringing the energy. He's just been a fantastic addition.
Yeah, if you're not bringing the goods, it starts turning into a tired act, I think, for a lot of players that are your teammates. Big series, obviously, this weekend. This is a tough week for the Padres. Tough couple of weeks. I mean, they had Atlanta for the 3 games. Take the sweep, obviously. Love that.
Yeah.
Got the Dodgers, then the Cubs, then the Dodgers again. Doesn't get much easier right before the All-Star break with Toronto and Arizona. This is a tough stretch for this team, but we always heighten the Dodgers series because of the fact they're just up the road. It's a rival. You're competing in the division. I view it as like another series this week, and you're 9 games out. I mean, obviously you like using it as a measuring stick, but it's not like you don't think the Padres can compete with these guys, right? I mean, we've seen them do it before. My question to you is, you've covered this team for a long time. You've been in a lot of these clubhouses. What's the vibe in the Padres clubhouse when they play the Dodgers? I mean, obviously they're going to get up for it because it's a big game, but it doesn't seem like it's like an overhyped thing anymore. And there's something to that. You want to stay even keel, and every series is the same, and it's the important series because it's the next one. How does this club view these series against the Dodgers in the regular season, Bob, from your perspective when you're down there?
Yeah, I think it's like act like you've been there before, right? And I think that's kind of the attitude now, where it used to be, and understandably so, man, the Dodgers are coming to town, and quite frankly, we're outmanned, right? And we're going to do the best that we can. And we've been beating up on some other teams, but we know these guys are sort of the gold standard. And gosh darn it, it always seems like, and I'm going back like 3 or 4, multiple years back, the Padres would play tough with them until something would happen in the 7th inning, right? Or the 6th inning or the 8th inning. All of a sudden there'd be an error or a misplay or something would happen, and all of a sudden things would start to unravel. And the Dodgers would kind of walk off the field with a win like, yeah, we knew that was going to happen. We knew you guys were going to implode. We knew something was right?
Right.
And so there's almost a sense of the Padres still had something to prove. But over the last several years, especially beating the Dodgers in the postseason, they've proven it. And the Dodgers, and talking to people in their clubhouse and, their front office, like, they acknowledge it. It's like, yeah, it used to be, we kind of knew we'd get you guys at some point, but it's not like that anymore. It's like, we know we've got our hands full when we're playing you guys. And I think there's just this attitude of like, yeah, we know we belong. We know we can beat you guys. We've done it before. And so bring it on. We know we're going to have extra energy. We know it's going to be intense. And Petco is always filled now, which is awesome. But let's not deny it. There's just a different intensity and energy during those Dodgers series. And the players look forward to it, but it doesn't distract them from what they need to do. It doesn't intimidate them from what they need to do. And I think it's just a different vibe in that clubhouse now in recent years of, yeah, Dodgers are coming to town. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's get after it. And it's fun.
I can't wait to see Walker Buehler go against his former team. I think that's going to be a little bit more of an edge coming up tomorrow. This should be a fun time. Bob, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks again for taking some time out of your off day. Have fun this weekend with Padres and Dodgers. We got some tough couple of weeks coming up for the Pods.
Yeah, good baseball, important baseball, tough teams, like you said, and I'm just super looking forward to this matchup this weekend, especially coming out of the Braves series with some momentum after the sweep. So let's go. Let's have some fun.
Bob Scanlan, thanks again joining us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it's better. Bob always does a great job. We appreciate him joining us each and every Thursday. Next week, might have to make some changes, obviously. We might be on a little bit earlier. Maybe he'll join us in the morning next Thursday. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 if you want to join the show. When we come back, what's going on in the World Cup? We got a couple of games that have just started now. What's left? Team USA. Later tonight, we'll get a preview of that as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. NFL minicamps are over and training camp storylines are already taking shape. In Chicago, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are building strong chemistry as the Bears focus heavily on improving Williams' accuracy. Minnesota has a fascinating quarterback battle brewing between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, while Atlanta's competition between Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix Jr. will finally heat up in camp. Buffalo players are loving new head coach Joe Brady's relaxed approach, but can he balance being a player's coach with maintaining discipline? Denver is already raving about new receiver Jalen Waddle. Cleveland's rookie receivers have impressed, and San Francisco may have found a hidden gem in rookie linebacker Jaden Duggar. As teams head into summer break, biggest questions remain at quarterback, and training camp can't get here soon enough. As teams wrap up mini camps and head into summer break before training camp, every organization now has a clear picture of where things stand. OTAs and minicamp don't determine championships, but they often reveal storylines that become major themes once the regular season begins. From quarterback battles to coaching philosophies and emerging stars, NFL's offseason program gave us plenty to talk about. Let's start with the quarterback position, Frank.
Yeah, the quarterback situation remains front and center throughout the league. In Arizona, new head coach Mike LaFleur still doesn't have clarity under center. Jacoby Brissett's contract dispute kept him sidelined during practices, leaving Gardner Minshew and rookie Carson Beck to take most of the reps. It's hardly an ideal start for a team trying to establish a new culture. In Atlanta, the quarterback battle between Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix Jr. is still unresolved. Penix was limited while recovering from an ACL injury, so training camp should provide the first true opportunity to determine who wins the job. Minnesota is setting up another intriguing battle. Veteran Kyler Murray is learning Kevin O'Connell's offense while J.J. McCarthy continues to develop. Expect that competition to continue deep into camp. Meanwhile, Vegas is taking the patient approach with number one pick Fernando Mendoza. Veteran Kirk Cousins appeared to be poised to open the season as the starter while Mendoza develops behind the scenes. Things going quite well in Chicago right now, if you're not talking about stadium issues, though.
Yeah, they're continuing to build around Caleb Williams, and that's perhaps no player is more important to his franchise right now than Caleb Williams in Chicago. Ben Johnson has made improving Williams' accuracy and ball placement a major priority. Williams completed just 58% of his passes last season, ranking last among qualifying quarterbacks. Throughout the offseason, coaches evaluated virtually every throw, and the chemistry between Johnson and Williams appears strong, which should encourage Bears fans entering year 3 of the quarterback's career. Elsewhere, the Lions are seeing Penei Sewell evolve into the unquestioned leader of their offensive line. At just 25 years old, Sewell is already becoming a foundation of Detroit's locker room, but new coaches are starting to establish their identity as we head into summer camp.
Yeah, several new coaches and coordinators have already left their mark. Buffalo's Joe Brady is bringing a much different atmosphere than Sean McDermott did in upstate New York. Players have embraced his relaxed style with team building competitions and a lighter environment becoming the norm. The question remains whether Brady can balance being a player's coach while maintaining discipline in that locker room. In Baltimore, offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, has wasted no time demanding accountability, despite being only 1 year older than Lamar Jackson. Doyle has challenged his quarterback and veterans alike. And in Dallas, they are also excited about first-time defensive coordinator Christian Parker. Early reviews suggest communication issues that plagued the Cowboys last season have already immensely improved.
Young talent is making a lot of early impressions. Several young players turned heads this spring. Denver's addition of Jalen Waddle has energized the Broncos offense. Coaches already excited about how he can elevate Bo Nix's development when Bo Nix, in fact, comes back from a brutal injury last year in the playoffs. In Cleveland, rookie receivers Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion impressed throughout practices, providing hope for an offense that desperately needed playmakers. Miami is counting on year 2 breakout for defensive tackle Kenneth Grant to improve on one of the league's worst run defense. And in San Francisco, the rookie linebacker Jaden Duggar has emerged as a dark horse to contribute immediately thanks to his size and athleticism. Seattle's running back situation has become one of the more fascinating competitions in the league, with rookie Jadarian Price and George Holani battling to replace much of Kenneth Walker's production. But contenders starting to fine-tune for another run as we take a look at defending Eagles, or actually a couple of defending champions ago, Philadelphia Eagles receiving good news this spring.
Yeah, their offensive line is healthy and adapting to a more wide.
$125 on a Thursday. Going to wrap it up here very quickly. We got a couple of segments left, but we got to get you to World Cup action is back and moving, and Group E is got a lot of goals already scored, and we got a lot to explain in Group E for our World Cup date as we get down to the final couple of days of group stages.
All righty, so World Cup action. Again, this is the final match day for each of the groups.
Are we EFG today? No. We're
DEF today.
DEF today.
Yesterday was Group B, A, B, and C. Group B took center stage first. Bosnia-Herzegovina beating Qatar 3-1. Bosnia-Herzegovina getting through to the next round. Switzerland and Canada, both of those teams had advanced already. Switzerland getting a 2-1 victory over Canada. So it'll be Switzerland, Canada, and Bosnia going through out of Group B. Group C, Morocco taking on Haiti. 4 goals for the Moroccan side. Haiti goes down and out without a win in this year's World Cup. Scotland versus Brazil. Scotland takes the loss there, 3-0 Brazil. Vinny Jr. scoring 2 goals in that game as well in the 7th and 45th +3. Brazil and Morocco both advance. Scotland is still waiting for the number 3, for the third seeded teams, the teams that finished third in the group.
And they're currently 7th out of 8.
Yes, so they're
in terms of teams advancing out of the 12 that could potentially do it.
Group A, Mexico completes a clean sweep of the group stage and also a clean sweep of the hearts as Memo Ochoa takes the field for one final time.
We're just allowing Mexico to play and bring on the party pieces. Raul Rangel makes way for the legend. And we are talking about one of the greats of Mexican football, Guillermo Ochoa. In his 40s now, but age is not withering him. And it's a delight to see Ochoa on the pitch at another World Cup.
6th FIFA World Cup for Guillermo Ochoa, one of the best Mexican goalkeepers to ever play. Third most appearances at 154 for the nation of Mexico. Mateo Chavez, Julian Quinones, and Alvaro Fidalgo all scoring for Mexico to complete their clean sweep. South Africa, a surprising win for them, beats South Korea 1-0. So out of Group A, Mexico and South Africa advance. Czechia is out, and South Korea now waiting for the 3 seed playoffs. Today, Group E is what is currently going on right now. You're at hydration breaks for both matches here. A lot of scoring early. Curacao and Ivory Coast. Nicolas Pepe for Ivory Coast getting the goal scoring going early in the 7th minute. Ivory Coast leading Curacao 1-0. Ecuador and Germany tied 1-1 in the 30th minute in their hydration break at MetLife Stadium. Nilson Angulo for Ecuador ties the game in the 9th minute after Leroy Sané for Germany scores in the 2nd minute. So 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. All 3 goals today scored in the opening 10 minutes. That is Group E. Germany has already advanced through. Everyone else still with something to play for. Group F will be on at 4 p.m. today. Japan versus Sweden and Tunisia versus Netherlands. Both of those games will be on at 4. Tunisia already eliminated. The other 3 nations all have 1 win. Group D will be on at 7 p.m. tonight. Paraguay versus Australia. Both of those nations have 1 win. Turkey and the United States playing at 7 o'clock tonight as well. Again, the U.S. has already punched their ticket and have already won the group. So Paraguay versus Australia will be the game to watch if you're looking for stipulations.
Correct.
In the group. But of course, the U.S. is where everyone's going to be focusing on.
If you look at the 3rd place standings right now in the World Cup, Bosnia and Herzegovina is leading the charge with 4 points. And then you have 6 teams tied at 3 points. Sweden, Croatia, South Korea, Algeria, Paraguay, Scotland, and then Cape Verde, Belgium, Ecuador all tied with 2 points. Cape Verde currently holding on to that last spot in the 8th spot. Congo's got 1 point. Senegal did not get any points. Senegal will not probably be advancing. At this point, like 3 points is kind of safe, but not really. I mean, the only one that's really safe right now in the 3rd place rankings, because there's still 3 more groups to go tomorrow, is Bosnia and Herzegovina. And that's basically it. And then again, they have 3 more groups on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at it right now, like Algeria still has to play, and they have 3 points. I mean, they could bump up with the win. Congo has 1 point. A win for the Congo would put them well in, and they're currently on the outside looking in. Croatia has 3 points. They still got to play again. They are currently in a spot, but there's still a lot of movement in the 3rd place rankings. To me, if you want to feel comfortable, you got to have at least 4 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what Curacao and Ecuador are both playing for right now. If Ecuador can get a win here against Germany, who's really playing for nothing at this point, if they can get a win, and if Curacao can come back against Ivory Coast, they would both have 4 points. But for right now, the teams that we do know are in and out. The teams that we know for sure are in: Mexico, South Africa out of Group A, Canada, Switzerland, and Bosnia in Group B. Again, this is in no particular order. Group C, Brazil and Morocco. Group D, the United States. Group E, Germany is already in. Group I, France and Norway are already in. And Group J, Argentina have already advanced through to the knockout stages. The teams that are out: Czechia, Qatar, Haiti, Turkey, Senegal, Iraq, Jordan, Uzbekistan, and Panama are all out.
Looking at the bracket, the top 2, 4, 6, 8, the top 16 side of the bracket where Team USA will be. Again, it sounds like they're almost a foregone conclusion. They're playing Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
they're
what
gonna
it feels like.
They're going to play Bosnia next Thursday. As it stands right now, they play the winner of Egypt and South Korea. That side of the bracket has Portugal, Ghana, Spain, and Austria. On the other side of that 16 bracket, Germany, Paraguay, France, Sweden, South Africa, Canada, Netherlands, Morocco. That's pretty tough to make it to the World Cup final on that side.
I think the World Cup winner is going to come out of that side of the bracket.
The other side of 16, as it stands right now, Brazil versus Japan, Ivory Coast versus Norway, Mexico versus Scotland, England versus Cape Verde, if Cape Verde can hang on to that final spot, Argentina, Uruguay, Australia, Iran, Switzerland, Algeria, Colombia, and Croatia. Is that other side. The upper part of the bracket seems a little bit tougher, Frank.
Yeah,
at this point.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, that's where the United States gets for winning their pool. So that's fun. When we come back, we'll kind of recap what we learned today from the owners in terms of their latest proposal. We'll talk more about Padres baseball as they lead into a series against the Dodgers, and we'll wrap up today's show. Braden Surprenant Show, Static Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. You're muted on the, yeah, there it is. Because we recorded a promo
Yeah.
during the break. So anyway,
Start for the top.
you haven't gotten a t-shirt yet. Why haven't you?
I don't have a promo code.
Well, in order to get a promo code, be a member today of the YouTube channel. If you want to check out our t-shirts, you can go to youtube.com/@B_SURP. You'll have a link on the shopping site to our merch. You can also Google search it as well. Go get your t-shirts. Help out the show. We appreciate it. We got some three cool designs. Shout out to Steven, who got one yesterday. Shout out to Nate, who got one with the promo code. David got one with the promo code. Juan got one with the promo code. Want to hear about the promo code? Become a member today on youtube.com. You can subscribe for free. Also, become a member, a little bit of pay. You can subscribe for free.
We're practicing for Thursday when we have to
Introduce
Thursday.
ourselves every single segment.
No, when we have to do back-to-back shows.
Oh, that's
word
right.
For word.
Yeah, 100%. Word for word.
Just practicing.
Is that what we're doing?
I haven't heard otherwise.
I haven't heard otherwise either. I guess we'll find out next week. That's a next week problem. Anyway, if you go to youtube.com/@B_SURP, it'll pull up the page. And then on the top bar underneath it says, well, first of all, you can click subscribe. Home, videos, shorts, lives. Check out our playlist, our posts, memberships that are on there as well. And you can see store, and it'll have all of our shirts on there. And you can click the link to go get yourself a shirt today.
We sell shorts on those shorts or no? The shorts tab?
I don't have shorts on there yet. No,
not on the shorts tab. Okay.
I need to get you a hat like that. We need to make like a Frankie Left Turns hat or something like that. Frankie Left Turns edition shirt. We do have to make a Frank edition. It's not a bad idea. Design a t-shirt. We'll get it printed. I got to get the OTL shirts printed, which I haven't done yet because I've been waiting for this new batch to come in. I'm going to have to do that like tonight because it's in like 2 weeks. Are you going to come hang out with us again at OTL?
Yeah, sure.
We got some practice
No problem with that.
yesterday.
Attaboy.
It's good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. I bought a case of OTL balls at Charlie Rose the other day. Oh, man. A case of OTL balls is expensive. It's like 12 balls were like $130 or something like that.
Jesus.
Those OTL balls are expensive.
I'll lose them.
The new bats are great. Oh, no. I wrote B-Serp on them. Those are mine.
Stop knocking them into the
Yeah.
bowl.
Sam did go to practice, Nate. He was there. Sam's on his way probably right now to L.A. to watch the Team USA. He got tickets to Team USA Turkey. So anyway, membership advantages get you some shirts, access to other stuff. If you want to know which membership does that, go check out our memberships on youtube.com/@B_SURP/membership.
Could you imagine if we got, like, if we did enough around OTL, if we got like special edition Braden Surprenant OTL balls?
That'd be very difficult to do.
I agree. I
put like a logo on it. That's why I got to get the stickers, dude. Just slapping stickers on every ball that gets put in play. Got to order those too. I just have a list of things I have to do that I haven't had time to do, and today's not going to be one of those days I do it because I have to go to El Camino today.
We'll know exactly which court you played on with all of the balls having the show logo on it.
We could have named our team name. Frank Marchese is on court 14. I thought I didn't want to out Joe Musgrove because he's there a lot. It'd be fun. But could you imagine if you named your team like, oh, Joe Musgrove up on court 14 is like your team name? People would lose their mind. Is that Manny Machado? Is that Manny Machado on court 35?
The OTL team names bid is back, folks.
Oh, it's back. It's back. I came up with a good one the other day. I don't want to say. It was good. I know I told you that one. Some sports.
You might have done, yeah.
There's so many good ones. There are a lot of ones on there that are just like
bless you.
Rude but incredibly funny.
Yes. Yes, there are.
Yeah, there's a handful of those. Anyway. All right. I re-looked at this proposal from the owners, and like I think this is a starting point. There's no way the players are going to like this, like we talked about. They have agreed on a couple of things already. That's good news. Like if you have accumulated at least 5 years of service time and you turn 30, you could become a free agent if you hadn't already done so. I think that's a fair rule. Now, they have what is called the 12 years rule, which is a maximum contract length for young players under team control. And we went through the chart, obviously, 0 years of service time, 1 year, the 1 through 5 to free agent, and how many, everything's got a max contract. So if you haven't had any service time yet, you can sign a maximum contract length of 12 years, $500 million, 11 years, $461 million for 1 year of service. I mean, it kind of what it does is it is designed to prevent teams from manipulating the salary cap by giving players absurdly long contracts to lower the average annual value. That's the other reason why that's on there, Frank. So, and the other thing too, it's if you sign a player and that contract expires, you can then re-sign them again. But it's a way to eliminate the AAV, which is a big reason why like these teams put all these years on there. Xander Bogaerts got all these extra years because they didn't want to pay him $30 million a year. They'd rather pay him $25 million a year. So that makes sense. But for example, a team cannot sign a 21-year-old rookie to a 20-year, $600 million deal and spread out the money to make the annual salary look smaller for luxury tax purposes or for salary cap purposes, which I think is fair. Under the proposal, a rookie could get up to 12 years, a player with 5 years of service time can get up to 7, and a free agent can get up to 6 years. But after the contract ends, that player could sign another contract. So they did that eliminates one of the questions that we were trying to figure out of, does that mean you can only play with a team for 12 years? No, you can sign another contract. You just have, obviously, you become a free agent. So if a player is drafted in 2020, like this season, and they sign a contract to the 12-year extension, which covers 2027 to 2038, at the end of that deal, that player is now a veteran. Obviously, they can sign another contract with the same team. They could theoretically play 12 years on the first contract, 5 years on the second contract, and then 3 years on the third contract to get you the 20 years with the same franchise that we talked about a couple of segments ago of that, like these new rules potentially eliminating that. They can just continue to sign contracts, but you can't do the extensions over a certain amount of years. It's basically built in so you don't finagle the money that's included on the salary cap, if that makes sense. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Now, they also have the cornerstone player advantage, which is basically Major League Baseball's version of NBA's bird rights. This is the biggest part of this proposal today. MLB wants to help teams keep their own players. And a team can, so what a team can do is they can offer signing a player. This is what a team can offer. So signing a player from another team, they can offer a maximum of 5 years, and maximum first salary has to be 15% of the salary cap, first year salary. Now, that means that changes as the salary cap changes. So if they increase the salary cap, so if the salary cap is, let's just say, $200 million.
Yeah, it's just 100 floor, 200 cap, just for easy numbers.
They can pay a player up to 15 per each, a player up to 15% of that, which means you could give them $30 million a year. But as that changes, the contract could probably give them a little bit more money too. So you get the 15% of your of the salary cap. It sounds like these contracts are built in off the percentages of the salary cap more so than the actual like numbers it was built in for. So I'm sure there's ways to negotiate that, but if the salary cap goes up, all of a sudden that AAV, or should I say those contracts go up?
It's on a moving scale.
I think so. I don't know if the individual contracts officially will be like that, but that next free agent class could sign for theoretically more money than the previous one based on how the salary cap is. But so if you sign a player that's not yours and a free agent, you could offer 5 years, 15% of the salary cap. If it's your own player in the free agent market, you can offer 6 years and a max of 16% of the salary cap, which gives you an advantage. The advantage goes to the team that they are currently on because they are now able to offer slightly more money and 1 extra year than the opposing teams. So players would not leave for more years and more money because the team that they're currently on can offer the most. out of the group, which I think that's great. I mean, the idea is to encourage stars to stay where they started and prevent every superstar from hitting free agency, and it rewards teams that develop players. I like that rule.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
They also have added the earlier free agency change. We mentioned this, 5 years of MLB service for players who are 30 years or older. A player who reaches 5 years of service time and is already 30 would become a free agent earlier because older players are currently reaching free agency after their prime years. A player debuts at age 25. His age, year 5, he's age 29. Year 6, he's age 30. Under the new rule, that player could hit free agency 1 year earlier than they normally do. I also think that's fair.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are involved with this. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow as we get more information. We'll talk about the pros and cons for this for the Padres. There are a couple of players that might become free agents if this goes through, that the Padres were probably not expecting to be free agents, or maybe they were. Maybe they thought they were going to this. But, guys like Gavin Sheets, I think, would probably be a free agent next season if this were to go through with the current rules. I just think this is a good negotiation standpoint. Starting point for both the Players Association and the owners. I know the owners got to come back down a little bit more, but I like the initial ideas, and now they can work out the figures that make sense for the players.
Yeah, it's looked very, very good so far, and I'm encouraged by everything I've heard out of the ownership side. At least they've put thought into this. They're trying to give the players as much as they can, as much as they are able to give, without giving up the salary cap.
He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This has been the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. Get you ready for Padres and Dodgers for a fun weekend. See you then.